Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is The Walking Dead, Season 11. This is where it's going to get a little confusing. Episode 21 and 22-ish. I know some of you might be on episode 21, which this is where it gets weird because episode 21 is called Outpost 22. But episode 22 is the episode that I watched, or it's the most recent episode of The Walking Dead. So some of you guys might need to check out. But before I get into it, if you care, if you're really, really serious about Walking Dead spoilers, I'll give you that warning before I talk about the episode 22 stuff. But we are going to be on for 4 weeks here. We're going to be on every week here until the conclusion of the season, even after the season finale airing at the regular time. We're just going to be talking about episodes in weird, odd orders and all over the place. Sorry for a little bit of a late start. I was waiting for Joe Dirty Locks to join me tonight. He's actually not here. After all that talk, I'm like, hey, Joe's going to be here. He says he's still coming, but he says he's running late. So instead of sitting here waiting, I was sitting like staring at the screen going, is Joe here yet? Is Joe here yet? But since I was just sitting here, I might as well come on here and babble to you guys. So yeah, The Walking Dead's happening. We're back in on this season, and it seems like so long since I've been in the Walking Dead universe to be able to talk about it. So it might take me a little bit to kind of get back into the swing of things. I'm just getting off talking about some other types of shows. And if you're just joining me, see, I'm a zombie. I was going to wear this thing too. Here I am, brains. But no, oh shit, I'm pushing buttons everywhere. I'm all over the place, my friends. But here we go. We'll push that right there. Oh no. What's that? What's that thing? Sorry, I'm pushed all the wrong buttons, and now my other computer is all fucked up and it's screwing me up. There we go. That's better. But of course, I'm not alone at this adventure. I have with me some friends in the live motherfucking chat. Right now, let's see who we got in the chat here. Still with us for The Walking Dead. We got Fandom D Sate, we got Atari Dad, and we got Loner Incognito. We got Casey Randy, we got Corey, we got the Daywalker. We've got some of our old friends, and we also have our poll up. Have you been feeling this season so far? Season 11, Part 3. Has it been a good conclusion so far? And so far, we've had 9 votes. We'll get to that at the end of the night. We'll see where that poll is leaning. Now, for me, am I feeling this season so far? I mean, okay, let's talk about Season 11, because I haven't talked about the first 4 episodes of this season since it's come back, because I've been finishing off House of the Dragon and then previous to that with Better Call Saul. So I've been off of The Walking Dead for a minute, so it's kind of tough to get back into talking about it. But I will say that in Season 11, starting right off the bat, they're trying to give everything this sense of finality. They're leading every episode's intro with some flashbacks from classic Walking Dead stuff, which I don't think does this show a good service right now. It's reminding me of better times, does not help with the current dynamic on The Walking Dead. They're trying so hard with angles and different kind of camera shots. I was going to wait to say all this till Joe is here so he could yell at me, but I have a feeling when he gets there, it's going to be the first time he streams in a while. He's going to be nice. He's going to be nice, Joe, tonight. But some of the angles and they're really trying with the production value to amp it up, to some of the music, some of the intention of the shots. The problem is this storyline that we're dealing with. It seems like these last 6 episodes have been dedicated to this Eugene arc so far. The Eugene and it happens more in episode 22 rather than 21. But that just, you lean a little bit too much on Eugene to give you some hard-hitting dialogue, and he just doesn't quite pull it off for me. Jeffrey D. Morgan continues. I'm a little bit of a Negan fanboy at this point because he's the best thing going on the show, but he's still showing some old signs. He's having an interesting dynamic. They're trying to, like, the actors, God bless their souls, are really, really trying to make this seem really intense and like a big final conclusion. But the Commonwealth arc has not been that final arc that I wanted necessarily, that feels like we're heading towards a sense of finality. And I know the series isn't really ending. We're getting 1.5 billion spin-offs, but that's a different point altogether that we'll talk about before this is all done. But it does seem like everything's amping up for that Rick Grimes return. And it's probably just going to be in the last episode. They're probably going to finish, because they keep saying in the promotional material for the season, they're hyping up 2 more episodes, 3 more episodes until the final episode. Like, they're hyping this final episode for the final episode. So I think we deal with this crew. We lose probably Carol by the end of all of this shit, because she didn't sign on to do the Daryl show. So she's the one person that we have to worry about, that from someone we actually gave a crap about. And everyone else is going to be safe and sound and happy. But I'm having a little bit of trouble caring about the stakes of what's going on right now in this scene. And they're making sure everyone has a taste. Everyone, oh, here, there's Magna for an episode moment. There's these people, these people, and it's all not orchestrating together properly for me. And I don't know, some people might be feeling this season so far. I particularly am not. But Rick and Michonne can't save this crap, says Shorty Wombo. No, Rick can come in and go, oh, this is the dumpster fire, see you guys later, and walk by it. And that's basically all he can do. Michonne, I feel, don't put her on this set. Keep this set away from her feet. But no, she's coming back for the Rick Grimes series. I definitely think they are all coming in here at some point. And I've said this before too, Norman Reedus, say what you want about him, good or for bad, he's not leading it with these, he's not giving you dialogue and deep character study type stuff, and he's not a captivating number 1 on a show, at least not to me. I think he's great as a number 2 or number 3 guy. He's not the number 1 guy. And having him try to carry some emotional dialogue heavy scenes, and then like they're bringing back like, oh, Ezekiel's important again. Here, let's bring Ezekiel in here. Him and Negan are going to have a little conversation, and they're going to settle their problems. Because yes, we're going to remember all the horrible stuff Negan did that they bring stuff up sometimes. We're like, remember this? Oh, we just discovered this in the writer's room. Our character did this thing. Let's talk about it. And then in the most recent episode, I'm all over the place with the 2 episodes because I'm confused about exactly the way they talk about this. But as I got to keep checking to see if Joe finds his way into the show. I'm looking forward to see Norman Reedus and stuff like that. Like someone said, can't wait for Norman Reedus in Boondock Saints 3. I can't wait to see him not have to carry a show with all these. Everything is this deep. They give a big emotional speech to help us through. It's like we're watching the equivalent of a Disney movie. And yeah, Michonne, exactly, Phantom DC. Michonne's in Wakanda. Don't bring her here. Listening to the podcast while I'm playing Street Fighter Alpha 3, getting hyped for Street Fighter 6. I am a big Street Fighter fan in the whole that era of fighting games. I must admit, I didn't love Street Fighter. Was the most recent one. Street Fighter 5, but I really liked Street Fighter 4. I had that for a couple. I had for the 3DS and for whatever my main system was at the time. And then I got the most recent one, and I didn't really like it as much, but I'm excited for the new one as well. What's up, Phil? I missed you on your House of the Dragon after show, but it's good to see you. I am excited to be out here. I'm not excited to talk about this show. I binge watched a bunch of Walking Dead episodes this week, and I'm not happy about it. And I'm having trouble finding that spark of excitement to babble about this. But this is something that I committed to, and somebody else committed to it too. And he's not here right now, so I'm doing this alone. Part of the reason why I was excited to do this really is to talk to Joe Dirtylocks. I'd much rather be hanging out with like Carmine and Preston talking about the House of the Dragon season, which I'm plenty invited to. So this is a labor of love to be out here and talking about The Walking Dead. So hopefully Joe will join us at some point soon as he's starting up his computer trying to figure everything out. But if not, I'm going to go through this I'll go through a little bit of this. We're going to have a lot of fun. This is going to be exciting stuff to talk about. Really exciting stuff. Oh, it's hilarious. A fucking laugh track, really? What kind of podcast is this? It's a joke like The Walking Dead. That's right. Now do your fucking job, producer dude. So, producer dude's trying to do his job over there, making this more exciting. Tracy says snooze fest. And that's the thing. That is the thing. It's beyond the point, and this is I can speak for Joe before he even gets here. It's beyond the point for rage. Just because it's not exciting. They took away any of the excitement for potentially losing any of the legacy characters that we care about, because most of them have spin-off series or shows after it. The only one that doesn't is Carol, and that's because she left the Carol and Daryl series because she wants off this fucking crazy ship right now. She's like, okay, I'm done with this Walking Dead thing. And they kind of screwed her by choosing to film the show where they chose to film the show where they originally were going to do it somewhere else. There was some sort of location issue for her with family, I've heard, but whatever, that's just speculation. So Maggie and Negan both got shows. So they're both surviving. I'm not saying we don't know that Negan's wife is surviving, but most likely she is too. Daryl is definitely surviving. He's got his series. Rick, I guess they could bring Rick back to kill him, because the Rick Grimes series theoretically could be a prequel, like the lead up to see how Rick gets back to the point in the series finale, or it could be Rick moving forward after the season finale, or both. I'm not sure exactly what the Rick Grimes thing is going to be, but we're going to be talking about this a lot over the next couple of weeks. Is Rick going to come back? Because honestly, that's the only thing I give a crap about at this point. But even that, as Shorty said in the live chat, even Rick coming back can't save this dumpster fire. I'm still curious, because the show is at such a state right now, I can't even imagine the character of Rick Grimes in this colossal nightmare of a mess. Like Andrew Lincoln's like locked in attitude of character being within these half-ass subpar kind of characters that we've built up this show at this point. To the point where, again, in episode 22, which I'm talking about as well, and again, no big spoilers, we're introduced back to a few more characters that we haven't seen in a while. And it's played as a big emotional moment because we see this guy. And fuck it, slight spoiler for episode 22. If you're really, really holding on, I'm not going to spoil a death or something yet without warning, but we are reintroduced to that character again, that the dude that plays all the musical instruments, the guy that played Francis Ford Coppola in the movie, in the show The Offer, and that's why he was written off The Walking Dead temporarily, and that the guy from Oceanside. I don't even know what the fuck his name is. He's the guy that was part of the group with Magna and the two the sign language girls and and Yuki and stuff. I think he was part of that group. I get confused because there's a lot of fucking groups. Well, he shows back up, and there's supposed to be like a moment like, oh, hi, I remember. Oh, yes, he's back. And it's just, even the actor, he's using a different accent now because he can't remember what he was like when he was for the last character. It's just like, oh, you again. And remember X from Oceanside, XYZ. And I'm like, who? What? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't know who you are. I don't know who this character is. I don't know what's going on. It's like you leave your house, leave a party, you come back into the party, and this is just how I feel in general about The Walking Dead and in the state that we're going. Like within watching it, I've closed my eyes, I've wandered out of the party, I've come back into the party, and I come there and I don't recognize anyone there. You know, maybe I have. Excuse me, sorry. I'm old. Maybe I aged out of it. I probably did. I aged out of The Walking Dead. The fuck? Snooze Fest 1977. Let's do a Dahmer live stream. We got John Haymaker, channel member. We got Atari Dad. We got JB. I lost interest in the show some time ago. To me, it's the Woking Dead, more current stuff, more modern Hollywood stuff, blah, 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 blah. Is this Is this the Fantastic Beasts guy? Jon Snow and Daryl both kill zombies. The Walking Long Night. I call it the Walking Disaster right now. I was done when the show killed Carl. Good to see you. Good to see all of our friends. Someone saying, I still think this Daryl series is a fake. I want some pork chops and applesauce. Isn't that swell? Where is he? No, he's still not here. I'm so glad I didn't wait to start the show to wait for him. So let's continue in here. And by the way, if you got any comments or questions about The Walking Dead this season, please leave them in either the comment section, or you can call on in at 781-990-8509. We're going to have a lot of fun for these next 3 tonight and 2 more podcasts, and then our season finale. We're going to be on here for counting tonight 4 weeks in a row here, talking about the final now 3 episodes after tonight of The Walking Dead. Granted, like I said, I'm an episode ahead of time, and I'm going to be labeling these episodes in the post as the newer episode. That's just for YouTube stupid purposes to have like the newer one as the thing, because people that actually watch a week ahead of time. So I'm preparing for the dislikes, because most people that are going to be watching this after the fact will be like, oh, a review on the new episode, and then I'm just sitting here complaining about how shitty the season is. But not everything's shitty. Aaron is still the best actor of the show, and they're trying a lot of new filmmaking techniques this season to kind of make things seem more intense. I give them credit. Heineken, it sucks, but what sucks more is fools like us watching the show. It really does. It really does. They suckered me back in. Joe and I were ready to quit this shit. And Joe's retired. Joe retired instead of talking about The Walking Dead. He's like, if I don't come on at all and talk about the 2 good shows, I can just say I retired. It sucks. The Walking Dread. Was Dirty Locks here for the House of the Dragon? No, he was not. The last time Joe's been on the show was the final time we talked about The Walking Dead. I think it broke him. I don't know. I haven't talked to him since. He stays away from me now. I think he's upset. I'm not sure if he's my friend anymore, but no, I'm kidding. Joe was not with me during House of the Dragon. I did most of that and Better Call Saul on my own, although I did have a few guests pop in here and there. Walking David joined me on a couple of House of the Dragon streams, and of course I did a lot with a lot of fun people, like with Tony and Carmine and Preston and Bridge and Gray and some of those folks. But on here on this channel, I kind of did all the House of the Dragon stuff for the most part on my own, and with Better Call Saul, I did those on the solo as well, although I was joined by the Vivid Kiwi at one point as well. So let's get into this Walking Dead stuff. Yeah, we live like a block away from each other, and is this the last season? This is the last season. But even though this is the last season of The Walking Dead, even though we have 1, 2, 3 more episodes of The Walking Dead, 4 for some of you, The Walking Dead's not over. This is just the beginning of the Walking Dead universe. And with the Walking Dead universe, I believe, or maybe that's a different show altogether, but it's a series of other shows that they just announced. Even though The Walking Dead might be over, our anticipation for this universe is not, because we are getting a Maggie and Negan series where they go to New York and face off different kinds of walkers, which I'm going to talk about in a second too, because that's another thing they're ham-fisting into this final season. They didn't lead up to this. They're just kind of throwing it in here at the end. The walkers that can do different things. You know, well, suddenly a character will just have a point of dialogue and talk about it like they've been talking about this the whole time. Like, oh, by the way, guys, sometimes in the middle of the podcast, I might go crazy and bash my head against the camera. This is totally something that's been always happening, and I'm going to treat this like it's not a new situation. And then they set it up like, some of these walkers can grab things with their hands or have memories. And then they make reference to, and yeah, some of them showed that in season 1. Yeah, remember back in season 1 when that one walker was hanging out by Morgan's house? you know, they're evolving here, and I don't mind an evolution of the Walker kind of storyline. I'm sure that could have been done well in a drawn out situation where you lead into it a little bit, but it seems like, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, this is just starting. They didn't talk about this last season. They didn't talk about this the season before. They didn't even talk about this the first half of the season. Maybe a little bit with the running walkers, Herschel walkers that they put into it. Damn, this fucking thing is scratching my microphone and it's annoying me. I'm gonna have to take this off soon. It keeps scratching my microphone. I'm like getting annoyed. But I mean, they started out a little bit, but not enough. And now they're showing them they can grab things. They can go grabby. How would Maggie ever be friends with her husband's murderer? They're setting it up that Maggie's not the one to deal with it. They're reintroducing a issue with Ezekiel and Negan right now in the most recent arc of it all. What's the point of spin-offs? And what's the point of spin-offs when the main show is still happening? So you destroy a lot of the drama of any of the characters we would actually care about. So any of the characters that could possibly something bad happen to are all characters I don't give a living shit about. Number one on that goddamn list is Eugene. And so much, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Eugene, what the fuck? He is a good one-off kind of character. He is somebody that is good in small doses. I was about to hear him. That was Eugene talking about like Boomhauer from King of the Hill levels of awesomeness. He's a funny guy. The actor Josh McDermott, whatever, is that his name? That's probably not his name, but if that's his name, good for you. If it's not, fuck me in my fucking side of my head and kill me like a zombie. Either way, let's pretend that is his name for now. Josh, you're funny. You could be like on a Saturday Night Live skit with this Eugene character type thing. You're like a Joe Dirt type of thing. Get in a movie with Danny McBride. You know, do something with him. You guys would be fucking hilarious. But when you got Eugene trying to do his comedic affectation, Eugene, and trying to deliver like emotional driven dialogue, and he's the center point of the dramatic dynamic of the season, like he's been leaned on the last couple of seasons of the direction. And I'm not saying he doesn't have some good moments. In the most recent episode, he has a line where he's like, I shouldn't be alive. And it's like, no shit, you shouldn't be alive. He just can't carry it. I don't want to see somebody that's the equivalent of somebody that's awesome for a 2-minute Saturday Night Live skit carrying the dramatic moments of the episode. Because everything you've done, because of killing Carl and Rick running sky high away from the show to do other things and then realize he can't do other things. He comes back to do the show again, whatever. Or because he's contractually obligated, and that was his out. If we're going to let you out, you got to do Rick Grimes' TV show or movie or some shit. So that just bumps up the importance of Eugene on the goddamn show from a character standpoint to deliver some of the intense dialogue. And they only want to make Aaron still a part-time character. He has a slightly bigger episode in episode 22, but still, they stick him with the characters I don't give two flying turd burgers about. Delivering dialogue to friggin' Petra patties. I don't care. I don't care. And they've taken away any of the emotional action for anyone to care, because the characters I do actually have any emotional investment in are all having spin-off series. Jesus fucking Christ.
Phil, you ain't got bit yet, right?
Not yet.
Tell me you ain't got bit yet.
I'm about to.
We need people like you. Your tables do us a great service. And if you got bit,
I'm not gonna get bit.
well, it'll be mighty difficult to find a replacement for someone of your caliber.
Thank you.
So don't get bit, Phil.
I will try.
Stay alive.
You know, I want to
Thank you.
thank
for being you.
Thank you for being you, caller. And yes, you guys can call in at 781-990-8509. I try not to get bit. I try to be safe. And the way I do that is by having my shit buddy when I do this stuff. But my shit buddy isn't here. So I am in a very bad situation right here because I don't have him. He's not here. Where's Joe?
Don't have to worry,
Joe?
get your shit, buddy.
Joe, do you have my back?
Don't have to worry,
You don't.
get your shit, buddy.
You don't have my fucking back, so I'm gonna get fucking killed. I'm a shit buddy. He's listening. Good. You're listening. You're not being a good shit buddy. I'm glad you're listening. No. Joe's in the live chat. He'll be joining us as soon as possible. What Joe's trying to do is stall enough time so I'm done talking about the episode so you can come on and go, it sucks, and hang up and be done. The poll does look like a staircase right now. So far we've had 27 votes. Has season 11 part 3 been a good conclusion to the series so far? We have 22% saying, it's 22 lying motherfuckers. No, 22% of people saying yes, trolls. 22%, 30% saying no, and 48% saying meh. I don't know, meh. Using Pampers. The Walking Disaster. When Negan got introduced, it just changed. Are you gonna do the live spin-offs? Okay. I mean, that's the thing. Are we gonna do the spin-offs? Joe and I will talk about this as we're leading down to it. I mean, yes. I can't guarantee Joe's involvement in all of those spin-offs, but I think I'll at least give them a shot. Especially the Rick one. Just because hopefully if Andrew Lincoln's going to be a part of it, it can be of somewhat higher caliber. Someone says the vote was locked. The vote is locked. The hacked. The vote is hacked. So someone hacked it and voted 22% for that. But yeah, this whole season is like public enemy number Eugene, and I don't think Eugene is good enough to cover what's going on right now. He's just not captivating enough of a character for the weight of which they put on him to do stuff. And it just doesn't work for me. And it's tough because it's not like they don't have other people that could theoretically have been interesting characters. They introduce these people so quick that it makes it difficult to give a shit about them. Mercer is another one. Mercer, the actor, God bless his soul, is putting as much into it as he possibly can. We get this big reveal kind of thing that happens at the end of episode 22. Again, spoiler alert, if you're someone that's really, I know some people are popping in here just to watch the dumpster fire. Some people are still keeping up with the show. So I don't want to do this to certain people. If you're watching this show and holding on to the drama, it's very difficult. The Walking Dead AMC has made it difficult to cover the show because I want to talk about the most recent episode, but I know not everyone wants to buy the crap. Don't purchase it. Watch The Walking Dead before you buy AMC Plus. It's one of the shittiest of all the apps. You have a lot of choices for apps out there to watch your shit. AMC Plus is one of the worst put together apps I've ever used, bar none. Makes me want to drink sometimes, flipping through that app sometimes. Freezy, buggy, shitty. Don't download it. That being said, I downloaded it. I have it. So I watched the episode a week ahead of time. And so that's kind of the episode I'm most focused on here today. So there might be some spoilers for those of you that are really conscious of that kind of stuff. Worse than Paramount Plus? Yes. I've used both. Both are pretty horrible, are bottom of the barrel in user interfaces and that kind of stuff. The AMC one is worse simply because the Paramount Plus over time has has gotten a little bit more material to watch on it. It has more to offer for viewing experience. The AMC stuff just has the AMC shows basically, and it's got and it doesn't even have all of them. It has the AMC shows, but you can't just go on it and watch this final season of Better Call Saul. That's not on it. They only had those episodes for a small, short time. So it's only good if you really want to watch Mad Men and The Walking Dead. That's it. We've got the one and only Walking David in the live motherfucking chat here tonight. Thank you, everyone that's joining me. We know we're going to have a smaller crew than we've had for the last many, many weeks. Trickle-down effect from Better Call Saul. I've scared away all the Walking Dead people, but let's keep this coming and keep focusing. So make sure if you're watching this, keep the likes coming, keep the shares coming. Help us get out to even more folks and see how many people we can get by the end of the final season of The Walking Dead. I'm kind of jumping into the season in the middle of it all, and it's good to talk to all of you guys. I hear the PlayStation version of the Paramount Plus is basically unusable. There's a lot of unusable apps out there from that standpoint, and the AMC Plus one is. And I'm not sure I quite understand this whole thing that they're doing where they're releasing the episode a week ahead of time to the people that have the AMC Plus app. I get they're trying to pay back to the people that are supporting their platform, encourage people to get the platform, but I think it just creates a confusing dynamic and a lot of pirating because the people are just pirating off there and it's on all the pirating sites a week ahead of time. So everything's pushed up a week ahead of time. It doesn't really matter. They should just maybe give early access in the day or like a day ahead of time or something. I don't know. I'm not sure I'm a big fan of this whole week ahead of time system. I mean, maybe if I was into the show and not necessarily streaming about it and I was just watching it, it would be an interesting setup. Hey, we got Studio 11 live. Hey, Phil, don't even watch the show, but had to check in. Hoping to see Joe, but glad to see him in the chat. We missed him during House of the Dragon. Yeah, Joe is in the chat. He was not with us during House of the Dragon. Maybe not tonight, but we will get into it with Joe about his thoughts of House of the Dragon. I'm not sure you guys are going to like what Joe has to say about that, but we're going to get into it. I will definitely ask him, and we will talk. Where did I do this? Oh my God. I keep messing about. So let me start this off right. It's about time. I've done enough foreplay. This is we're not here for 15 hours. This isn't a 15-hour affair going on here. It's only so long I can wait before we get into this because we were just talking around stuff. I took detailed notes. I promise you. I sat down and painfully took detailed notes, and my file got corrupted. So thank goodness for people's reviews. So I'm going to be reading other people's reviews of the episode to kind of recap it. We do have the episode here on my phone, so we can listen to it if we want to as well. But now's about time. It's that time for everything's slow tonight. It's that time for a recap. What happened? Did I pause the music? How did the music stop? Wait, I didn't ask you to stop music. Okay, we have our first super chat donation of the night. God damn, I can't stand this fucking thing. That's better. Ooh, bloody talker. So do I. I'm having trouble. As much as I have some zest, have some flair, have some goofiness, have long, disgusting hair, I'm having trouble getting that same level of excitement. If you watch the last House of the Dragon stream, when I went, even the tempo of my voice is a little different. The excitement. That being said, I fell asleep on the couch. I ate too much. I had a big meal, big tummy. But I ate too many brains, and I sat down. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna take a little cat nap here, like a little 20-minute nap. And I had one of those. I blinked my eyes, and I woke up about 10 minutes before we needed to start. And then I went to my notes, and all my notes were destroyed. It was a very, very horrible situation. But anyways, let's get to we got Mr. John Lennon. Someone give me some truth here, Henry. With the super chat donation, $9.99. Thank you so much for that super chat donation. As I've always say, never expected, but always appreciated more than you know. Henry says, Lance was the best and most interesting character this season. He stole every scene. It sucks that they killed him off. It would have been cool if he lived and got into one of the spinoffs. I would echo that Lance is infinitely more interesting than Pamela. Pamela is like really awful, and I don't like her. And it's not that I don't like her because the character is playing such an evil type interesting character or something like that. I just don't like the character. I find the character infinitely boring and not captivating to be sort of an endgame villain. Lance is an interesting one. I think if he was introduced and fleshed out even more, he would have been definitely more a unique kind of Walking Dead villain, because he has that potential of going like both ways and being a wheeler and a dealer. There was a point in time in the way his death was set up that I thought they might have kept him alive, but I thought that scene and that whole dynamic with Carol and Daryl have been one of the best aspects of the final part of the season. I think they're getting back, at least in some ways, to some of the things that work on the show in these final episodes. I've shit on it enough for a point. Let's get to some of the gooder points here. I think Daryl and Carol work together, and when they put them in scenes together, I think was it last year that they had that episode where they set up, or was it earlier in this season? I forget, but I think it was last year. That whole episode, I honestly forget when it was. It all blends. Where they can't be friends anymore and they can't work together anymore, but then they just keep working together. And I think in scenes when they have stuff to do together, it tends to work. When they're leaning on Negan to carry a scene, it works a little bit better. When you're walking around with, and I love Aaron, with Aaron and Jerry and like the personality of the Miserables characters, or the Saved by the Bell, the new class characters that they focus on sometimes, I just don't care. Maybe with Princess a little bit, just because the actor is captivating on screen, but Kumiko or Yumiki or whatever, like I don't even know her name. I haven't even taken the time to know her name. The sisters that do sign language and stuff to each other, like they're so forgettable as characters, I don't take the time to know their name. Magna, the only reason I know her name is because I used to call her Manga, and someone corrected me. Even her, I don't know her. She just pops up every once in a while. It's like, oh look, she's doing catering. Oh look, there she is right now. Now she's in a cage. Now she's one of the people that's been kidnapped. Okay, that's good. Like I don't care. Oh, Ezekiel, let's see him for a while, and he's important. Now he's not important again. But no, let's have Eugene be a consistent character because he's so goddamn captivating on screen with his friggin' amazing deliverance of the dialogue. I'd like to see him in fucking Deliverance. He does have a pretty mouth. Yeah, Princess is the new character, is the only character I remember. Last year when Daryl fixed his bike and Carol. Yeah, exactly. When Daryl was like, "Hey, we're friends. We're not I might care about you, but I can't do a Daryl. Sorry, David. I can't do a Daryl. Listen, Carol, I care about you." I don't even know what I sound like there. I sound like something that could work, but it's not Daryl. "Hey, listen, I'm some new Walking Dead character that nobody knows. It's gonna be wannabe Daryl dude. I'm that wannabe Daryl dude, and I'm angry. That's right, I'm angry." I forgot for that super chat donation. May have a drink. Thank you for that super chat donation. I will make my way to the wheel when Joe gets here. I think he said he's logging on now. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what Joe says when he gets here. Maybe he liked it. I'm having a feeling we might have, "Hey, Joe." Joe's gonna be like, "I kind of like this." Phil, hit that 420. Oh, I will hit that 420. You bet that hippie activity is coming here in a second. Thank you guys in the live chat. Thank you so much for anyone joining me tonight. I do appreciate it. I appreciate all you motherfuckers, anyone that is still sticking with me talking about The Walking Dead. I'd much rather be talking about something else, but we're talking about The Walking Dead tonight, and I'm excited to do it. Shorty says, "My son thinks Carol is Jamie Lee Curtis's activity." Especially the way they, I almost feel like they designed Jamie Lee Curtis in some of these new Halloween movies to look more like Carol. They could definitely, I don't want to classify too much, but they definitely could pull it off. They definitely could be sisters. Carol and Jamie Lee Curtis could definitely be sisters. We got another super chat from the Shorty Womp Womp, the Jersey Princess. I appreciate that. Oh, listen, brother. Listen, Peter Griffin. Listen, brother, I know what you're saying. So, first of all, in episode 21, which is Outpost 22, again, this is very confusing to me. Were they trying to be smart by having episode 21, the episode leading up, and then episode 22 takes place at Outpost 22 as episode 22? Or am I reading way too much into it? I'm probably reading too much into it. I just think it's confusing. We got Mark A. Houston in the live chat. He's not sleeping on this process right now. Even though, like, I appreciate those of you that are popping on in here that might not watch this show. I feel I'm jealous of you. I'm upset. Can I be you? Do you want to come out here and do this? Please. But no, I appreciate it. Anyone popping on in here, join the fun, join the silliness. Keep your thoughts. Share your thoughts. Not keep your goddamn thoughts in the live goddamn chat. Please share your thoughts in the live chat or call on in at 781-990-8509. You don't have to keep this to The Walking Dead. These Sunday night casts are going to be called Walking Dead casts, but as far as I'm concerned, when we're on these Sunday night affairs, unless we're talking about a show we deeply care about, you can talk me out of talking about The Walking Dead by asking me about something else. So if you guys have another topic you have a question about, feel free to ask it. But I will, because I don't think there's much we're going to be able to say here. I mean, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to break it down. As I said, I did have detailed notes that got corrupted, so I'm not going to be as detailed in tonight's breakdown of these two episodes, but we are going to talk about everything that happens in this recap fashion. What you going to do when Hulkamania runs over you? Listen, brother. Listen, real deal. I got Joe backstage. Let me set this up. I'm not sure how. Let me make sure this all works. Let me add him to the stream, and let me do this. I want to try to get this. Whoa, no. Exit my full screen. I got to figure out how to do this. And I just want Joe on the full screen, not me on the full screen. Come on. There we go. Okay, so Joe can kind of see me, but not really. And let me mute Joe for now. Let me mute Joe for now while he can, because I don't think he can hear me yet. Let me mute Joe's microphone while he's setting up here. But Joe is in the house for right now, anyways. There's Joe Dirty Locks is there, in fact, everybody. Well, everyone, welcome Joe back to the show. But I don't think he can hear me yet. But he did sit down, and Joe is in fact in the house. So we'll catch up with Joe in a second here. And hopefully he'll be able to hear me. I can hear him, so I know we are connected. I just don't know if he can hear me yet. So, but that's good to know. We got Joe in the house. Talk about this episode and talk about these episodes. I'm curious where he's been and Joe, give me the thumbs up. Can you hear me, Joe? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Oh, you can. Cool. Okay, so we're going to bring Joe back into the show here. Oh, right there. Bam, bam, bam. There we go. Let me start my virtual camera so he can see something on his end and he can look at something. And Invisible Joe, I think I muted him, but let me unmute him. And there we go. Joe, welcome back to the Walking Dead broadcast here.
Hey, it's good to be back.
Are you sure? I mean, I feel like the last half a season of The Walking Dead was like you wanted to quit after that point. You're like, this is too much. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about this fucking show.
No. It's good to be back here.
Right. It's not good to have to catch up on watching 4 or 5 episodes of The Walking Dead. That was difficult. It was a tough road to hoe. And are you caught up? How far are you caught up to through?
I am not on 22. I do not. I haven't. I thought I had AMC Plus either through Prime.
Okay,
or through YouTube TV. And at some point, I guess I don't have it anymore. So
okay, so what I'm gonna do here?
And no. I was listening when you said how much the app sucks, and I couldn't agree more. That's why I forgot I even had the app or didn't have the app. I haven't used it in fucking forever.
So awful to even try to use. Okay, so I'm gonna change the title.
What are you gonna fucking watch on it? What are you gonna watch on it? Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, and like first couple of seasons of The Walking Dead. That's all.
Dude, you can't even watch the final episodes of Better Call Saul yet. They don't put the last group of episodes on there. So basically, what I'm gonna do?
Why would you call it Plus then? Plus, you're missing the shit that you want to see.
Yeah, no, the only thing you want to see. You can watch old Breaking Bad, but that's other places too. Okay, so what?
AMC Plus, the feeling you're getting screwed.
Yeah, AMC Plus, you're getting nothing. AMC Plus, a finger up your ass. So what we're gonna do here is I'm going to change the title of this episode after the fact to episode 21, and we're going to just talk about episode 21, and then we'll be talking.
We can talk about 22.
No.
I could probably tell you what happens in it. Like,
no, I'd rather do it the other way around, just because that way we're going to be on here 4 weeks after the broadcast hour. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a spoiler like preview at the end, and I'll talk a little bit about 22 and give you some like hints about what's going to happen. It's a shitty Eugene speech happens. That's what happens.
Oh, another one? Like another one?
Joe, it's good to have you back on the show, Joe. I can't do the fucking Eugene voice. The Walking David in the live chat says, yeah, AMC minus. Yeah, it's
Right.
Phil named a finger up your ass. We had the same joke. Joe, give us your opinions on all the shows we missed out on. We'll definitely get that into that. I don't want to get Joe too far on House of the Dragon right now, but I definitely had to deal with his negative opinion on that. We'll do a whole podcast on how much Joe hates House of the Dragon later. But for now, we'll keep that.
I just sound like the guy that hates shit. And if I am, it's because like the first 4 seasons of GOT killed me.
No.
It for everybody.
Are you sure it wasn't the last season that killed it for you and gives you this opinion? Oh my God, Tony. Tony, I just called you Tony Joe because we have the one and only, the amazing Tony Pajamas in the live chat. He's so happy to hear us reviewing The Walking Dead again. Someone's happy, Joe. Someone's happy we're reviewing.
Someone happy.
We're here to make you happy. Someone is happy. We appreciate it, everybody. We appreciate you guys popping on in here. Sorry, I'm messing around with some of our views here. We got Joe next to his good buddy Negan. Isn't it great to see Negan, Neganing back on the show, Joe? Negan, I feel like is is
getting back.
Isn't he consistently probably the best thing on the show right now, though? At least finally, are you finally ready to admit that Negan is the best thing on The Walking Dead right now?
I'm still camp. If Daryl dies, I quit The Walking Dead.
Well, Daryl has.
I'm still in that camp. Like, honestly, no. So now that I don't have to listen to Negan do Negan like 24 for like, you know, an entire season of that shit. Like, I can appreciate, you know, Dean acting a little bit better there. Yeah. What's his name? Dean Morgan?
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Richard
Dean Morgan. James Dean Morgan. Whatever the fuck his name is. Someone Dean Morgan.
But since he's not doing that anymore, I can really appreciate his acting job a lot more.
Yeah.
But like, come on. Like, I think I said it at the end of first half. Like, he's having a kid, really?
Yep. He disappears and he poochies up a kid. He comes back. He's having a kid. It's great. We do have a couple voicemails we'll get to in a second. If you want to call on in, you can do that. 781-990-8509. Got a question for Joe. Got a question for me. Keep them coming. Atari Dad says my Daryl impression earlier sounded like Eugene. Do that when I do Eugene. Oh, dear. Now I'm thinking about it too much. Dear. We got...
Phil. Just because she's here to say hi.
Oh, we got a kitty guest appearance on the show. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Stachia. Welcome to the stream, Stachia. Oh, did you hear me?
One word. Miss Stachia.
Miss Stachia. Oh, like the mustache.
Yeah. Look at that big mustache.
Well, I think she heard me. Hey. Hi, kitty face. Where do you keep finding cats all on the ground?
They just keep coming to the door.
I know. Joe's like befriending raccoons. He has a family of raccoons he sleeps with in his garage. He's got cats showing up at the house. That's where you guys want to know where Joe's been. That's where he's been. He's been. If you want a friend, feed any animal. Oh. Henry with another super chat donation. I loved this show. I still do, but it's nowhere near as good as it used to be. As for these last 8 episodes, I don't care if this sounds arrogant or pretentious, but I could have wrote these last 8 episodes better. And that's the issue I brought at the beginning, and Joe, you were listening too. It's not so much that this arc is incredibly stupid and boring and uninteresting. It's just not a final endgame boss kind of thing. If they had broken up or had more of this kind of dynamic when we got to Alexandria with some of the, human element government interaction, dealing with a family like this that's, I don't know. There's some new stuff that they're trying. We always talk about how every Walking Dead villain seems the same, is the same thing. Pamela, I guess, is a different kind of Walking Dead villain. And it's a different kind of dynamic in this whole Commonwealth arc. But it just doesn't feel very endgame, and it feels very poorly put together. And it's...
It just feels that way, Phil.
It does. It feels poorly put together. But how could they do that with such a...
You're gonna make me have a heart attack fucking laughing at that. Oh, come on, Sachi, you gotta get down. I know you could stay here forever. You'd be a star, too. I mean, come on. It feels that way? No, it is very poorly put together. It's fucking horrible. It's fucking horrible. Like... honestly bad, shitty. Like, as far as how it's put together, how it plays out, everything that these characters have done, first half of the season, back half of the season, is out of character for all of them. Yeah, the badass girl is like, yep, I'm done with it. I'm just gonna go be a waiter now.
Yeah, Magna, who what's her character? They have her come on here and there, and I don't understand who her character is. Let's get into the live chat. People say, "All hail King Joe, he is back." Oh my God, Joe is back. Axe says, "Great to see both of you doing here again." Fandom D Saint, so Joe is going to like the Last of Us HBO series. I sure hope. I know of all the new series that are about to come in the next few, I think that's the series Joe.
That's the only thing I'm waiting for. It's the only thing that I know of that's coming out in the future that I can't wait to see. I just finished The Last of Us Part 2, my second playthrough, but this time on grounded mode, like a couple days ago. Now I'm doing it on permadeath mode, like I'm going for the platinum trophy that I have it on the original, which played like 7 times. It's one of the best fucking story, and I just replayed the original too a couple weeks ago.
Now
the game and the story is fucking amazing.
Are you going to be very?
I could give my preview review right now and my trailer review right now. I've seen it like 100 times. Everything I've have my thoughts formed since the day they've announced each fucking actor.
Joe, I'm excited for this. I'm excited to talk about the show because I don't know anything about it.
You've never even played the fucking game.
No, I've never played the game.
I told you to play it.
But at this point,
put it on fucking super easy. You'll have no problem.
But no, at this point, shouldn't I just wait for the TV series at this point?
What? No, don't. Play the game first.
You want me to play the game before with the TV series?
I want you to play the. Okay. No, wait.
It might be an interesting perspective. Okay, Pesci.
Okay.
We forgot.
Okay.
Pesci's back.
Stop.
Okay, Pesci.
So okay. So I have played the game and the other game, and I'm a huge fan of the game series and all of that shit, and you have not. So I would actually prefer it if I'd like to take your perspective on the actors playing Joel and Ellie, because I know the actors and, of course, the characters. I know the actors that played the characters and the characters themselves from the game. So you're not as familiar with that, but we'll both be going into this, and I'm going to be looking at it with the critical eye, because I had some issues with original castings for the series that I'm hesitant of whether or not they're going to work, but I'm also at the same time extremely excited because I love all the actors that have been chosen.
Right. So it's going to be interesting, and I do think it's going to be fun to talk about this in this way. Thank you, Tony Pajamas. Thank you, everyone that's popping in here. Axe, it's great to see us together. Someone asked, did I see the new Simpsons episode? There was a Death Note theme skit. I didn't. I did go to Universal recently and got to have a drink at Moe's there, which is pretty cool. Kind of reinvigorated my love for the Simpsons. But for the most part, I don't watch modern Simpsons. But if I do check them out, I sometimes check out the Treehouse of Horror stuff. And I do have Disney Plus, so I might as well.
Yeah. Only antique Simpsons here.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
What
they call the vintage now.
But sometimes I do check out the newer Halloween episodes, because they can be kind of fun, and they did a cool anime one. The Binoculars view. Oh my God, Joe is back, says Jackie. Right now we got Hail King Joe. Yo, your Daryl impression sounded like Eugene to me. Loner says, I think Pedro Pascal is good as Joe, but I don't know about the girl playing Ellie right now. Igor says the intro of Last of Us has more emotion in it than The Walking Dead in years. I mean, the first 10 minutes. Phantom D Saint says, if you've never played the game yet, I say don't play the game, but that's just me. And that's what Igor says, my kids are in the 4th run. Shorty says, I hate Maggie. She's boring. I love Carol. I mean, Jamie. Does Phil play video games? I do play video games. And we do have another super chat donation.
He plays Nintendo.
I don't just play, and I play role playing games as well. I play.
No, he's got all the systems. He plays a lot of games.
We just never. Joe and I just never play the same types of games.
No,
it barely happens.
Like Phil likes sports games like you wouldn't believe.
I do like sports.
Suck at every fucking sports game I've ever played.
I also
Phil.
like fighting
no matter
games.
how much I play it,
Joe
I
hates.
suck at it.
Joe usually hates anything with too much of a story or a cutscene, like storyline games, like games like Zelda or Elden Ring. He would never deal with games like that.
No, because see, like The Last of Us is cutscenes and
Yeah,
shit
because
all
that's
over.
like cinematic level movie kind of cutscene stuff. Like you can't deal with normal video game cutscenes.
No, I don't like games like Horizon Zero Dawn, The Witcher 3, both of which I played through the end.
Yeah, but you're like skip cinematic, skip cinematic.
One second, Katie said Witcher news.
Oh yeah, Henry Cavill left the
Liam Hemsworth.
Yeah, he's being replaced by Discount Helmsworth.
The Little Hems.
Yeah,
Little Hems is taking over. I'm not sure that's going to work out good.
Because I think Cavill's coming back to Superman. So
Yeah, like that. I really enjoyed that fucking show. That's for sure. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy season 3 now.
oh, he's Cavill's still in season 3. It won't be till season 4 that.
Season 4. Okay.
Yeah, season 3 has Cavill.
So maybe they'll do like a different Witcher or some shit.
No. The way they're announcing it is that he's taking over the part. He put out this big announcement like Liam Hemsworth will be taking over my part on The Witcher.
Huh.
Yes. As usual, we're doing anything in our power to not talk about The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Bloody Talker says, hot take, the governor in the prison arc was peak Walking Dead. Oh, and hi, Joe. I missed your angry rants, and I missed hearing you rant on House of the Dragon. Welcome back. Phil, how do I rank the downfall of this show? I hate to be very stereotypical and do the Fonzie jumping the shark thing, but for me, it's very easily the point of no return for me was when Glenn didn't die under the dumpster. And I know there's a lot of other maybe partial bad moments that happened leading up to it. I think the whole show kind of started to go downhill once they got to Alexandria, once they got to any form of any civilization.
What?
But I do.
No, it didn't. That what scene? Come on. What?
But ultimately, I think
Come on.
the worst when the show really started to go downhill for me was post Glenn not dying and Glenn coming back. That's when things really, like, I really noticed it. That's I think Joe and I's point of no return. Maybe that's when like the How I Met Your Mother episode when the glass is shattered and you ruin your image of something. Maybe that was the point where our glass was shattered. We're like, oh, this is, and we started calling the show for the shit that it is.
There was something that happened an episode or two before that dumpster episode that I remember screaming a lot about, like, that was ridiculous, stupid, yada yada. And then that happened.
Yeah, it was around that time. Sonic Boys, who's a channel member. We have now channel members popping on in. We got someone that says, oh my goodness, it's Katie Crow's voice. Yeah, you can see the hand of the crow in a second. I haven't seen tonight's episode yet, but wanted to step in and say hi to my peeps. Captain, it's great to see Captain Phil. Welcome back, Joe. Wayne and Garth are back. Yes, we are. It's good to have Joe back on the show. And I can't wait to talk about a good show with The Last of Us. Is going to be a fun one to talk about. When Carl stopped, I died a little bit. Sanburbia Pictures is in there. What we talking about tonight? Better Call Saul or what? I wish we were back in the summer of Saul. Sanburbia. Oh my God, I hated the governor. I always skip the governor stuff. Thisby says when Carl died, I stopped watching. I feel like Beth and Noah dying was one of the worst decisions of the show. Who's Beth? I forget who Beth is. No, I'm kidding.
The group just keeps coming around to more and more, like, the governor over and over again.
That he was the best villain.
Like, they just keep writing him over and over again.
See, but that's my thing about right now. Even though we have specifically someone that's actually calling herself the governor, I believe, I think Pamela is a slightly different kind of villain than we've had in previous seasons of The Walking Dead.
No, she's not.
She's a little different.
Even a little bit.
She's
different.
She's
than the
so
governor,
different.
actually.
She's
come
different.
on now. Give me two. Give me two differences.
She's got shorter hair. She's got a face.
She's got shorter hair than the governor did. I think it's about the same.
Okay.
I think it's about the same.
Well, she doesn't. Well, I guess she does talk to her dead kid's corpse, and she gets pissed when the corpse of her kid is.
Neither one of them. Yeah, neither one of them gave up their dead kid.
No,
They
neither.
They both kept
Their kids, yeah. And then she got pissed when the kid was killed.
They both got pissed when their kid was killed.
She wanted to zombie love her kid. She gave money to people on Shark Tank.
They both have what prison camps, right?
Simburbia says best villain was Shane. I think ultimately my favorite villain was Gareth in the Terminus arc. I think that was the peak.
Well, that's because they at least were cannibals.
It was different too. It was like they were friendly, nice cannibals. Like, oh, sit over here. Please sit we've got the killings.
Exactly friendly, nice cannibals. They put them in fucking containers and.
Atari Dad says the governor was more hands-on, Joe. That's one. He was more hands-on. He got his hands dirty. He actually picked up the guns. He didn't have.
Well, it was a smaller town.
He had he had an eye patch. And he had an eye patch. There's two. Yes.
And the governor had a tank.
Killed it. Yeah.
And she's got a train. So
someone has to have an automobile, tanks, trains, and automobiles. See?
Like, come on. What's the difference? I'm still waiting for two
eye patch. I told you, eye patch.
Eye patch. Did he always have the eye patch?
Well,
no.
it was his.
Got the eye patch.
It's his ultimate look.
He was given the eye patch on the show.
It's still a look.
That's not a difference
it's
yet.
still a difference.
That's not a difference yet.
It's a difference.
The other lady's arc isn't done. It's only a matter of time until they make her get an eye patch.
No. The eye patch counts. 2 points for the good guys. If you're watching right now, please hit the like button.
Well, okay.
Please hit the subscribe button.
They
Share.
couldn't give her an eye patch, Phil, because they gave the Targaryen boy an eye patch.
Hey, oh, so you are watching. Good. Good. You are keeping up with it.
So there's that. They couldn't steal it.
Good, Joe.
The other one was airing first.
I was wondering. Good. You kept watching. I'm glad. Good boy. Good boy. He's got the Apple iPad. You better watch out or he's going to burn you with his giant dragon, Joe. Now, I'm at 2 right now. We got Lance was the governor. Let's get into our voicemails here. We got area code 773 for Joe and Phil here tonight.
Bill, you once again take me by surprise when you changed up the voicemail. I had to look at my phone, making sure I called the right person. Not that I'm not calling anyone else behind your back.
Wait a minute. You're cheating on me. This caller just admitted to cheating on me. You heard that, Joe. You heard the caller say, it's not like I'm calling anybody else. Oh, you're not calling anyone else. No other podcast is on your speed dial? I find that very hard to admit. No.
I only have a voice for you.
Thank you.
For what it's worth. Anyway, I'm just leaving a voicemail because it doesn't sound like that many people were calling. Honestly, I gave up after season 9 of The Walking Dead. I don't know what season this is, 10, 11, 12, 69, whatever.
69, dude. It's season 11.
The show has just gotten very, very, very brutal for me. It is excruciatingly, painfully predictable for me now, and I just don't really care for it. I will watch your rerun of any live stream over any modern Walking Dead.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And hopefully we'll make this as interesting as possible. As I said, I know a lot of people in our audience and we alienated any actual fans of The Walking Dead, and all that's left are people that want to hate on The Walking Dead, people that just like watching us. So we appreciate that's why that we whether we have 20 or so people like we did or 1,000 people that we had during Better Call Saul, we appreciate every amount and we'll give you guys the same love and the same attention. So keep the questions coming, keep the calls coming. We still got a couple more voicemails to get to. This is from our good buddy, the Bloody Talker.
Hey, buddy. I haven't watched The Walking Dead since I think they introduced Negan, and then I just checked out. But anyway... Have you seen Andor yet? I personally haven't, but I've heard a ton of really positive stuff coming out of the YouTube community. Preston Jacobs was gushing about it.
Yeah, Preston and Carmine love the show. I haven't watched it yet.
Wrap up for the season of House of the Dragon stream, and I think I'm going to be checking that out soon. I would put that on your radar. Anyway, have a good night, Phil.
Definitely. And if you guys want to talk some House of the Dragon, I highly recommend popping over to Preston and Carmine. I've been joining them all season after my streams. They've been nice enough to invite me tonight too as well. And those guys are great. So definitely pop over there and check out their stream. And they said, and I quote, both of them have said that Andor is the best thing for the only thing that's been good from Star Wars basically since Empire Strikes Back. Not the only thing that's been good, but they said it's the best thing. So I'm
That's what
definitely
I've heard as well.
I'm definitely curious to check out Andor. I've heard the people that wouldn't just say, Joe, yeah, the people that just, and Preston and Carmine aren't the type that would just say that. Like the people that have been trashing other Star Wars are telling me that this is good to go check it out. So it makes me excited to check it out.
See, I can't even trust that because some of those people were like, "Oh, you need to check out Obi-Wan," and I was like, done after 2 episodes.
Well, Obi-Wan is a little different. That's more than nostalgic. If it's some of the people that we both know, that pulls that nostalgic balls here. I would say from what I've heard about Andor, it's actually good. You know, it's like well put together. And I would also argue that I enjoy Mandalorian stuff for the most part as well. We got another voicemail from our good buddy. Let's see who this is calling on in.
Hello, Phil, Joe. Good to see you fellas back again.
Here's the Walking David right now. Oh no, that's
my thoughts on the last few episodes go as this. I mean, these last few episodes are far from captivating my medulla oblongata, despite the inordinate amount of screen time that yours truly has been given. I know nobody thought that the last season of the show would be about the misadventures of my love life. No one misses Rick more than I in these desperate times. Having said that, be on the lookout for the Eugene Porter spinoff, The Walking Dead, Adventures of Eugene and Max. It's very in the similar vein to Dunk and Egg, except profusely less interesting to those of the human variety. Anyway, I do hope you all take care. Until then, I dare say this show is pretty badass.
Now, Eugene calling on in because he knows his show is badass. Joe, I mentioned this a lot. I don't want to go belabor the point too much. But what do you like Eugene as a character? Not at all. Like even as sort of a passive, like if he was one of the characters that was less focused on, would you enjoy him more? No. For me, it's overexposure.
Yes. Maybe if it was like one scene, like every few episodes of him coming by to drop off some, whatever.
To drop some, to drop like I don't care about the, just do one funny ridiculous line and be gone. It's hard when we're again emotionally trying to base a lot of the emotional weight of this season of what's going to happen to Eugene, and he's sitting there with the constipated owl look on his face. He just always looks constipated. Whoever told him to act this way told him to get a more constipated look on your face. And I don't know how I'm feeling right now. I don't know. Like, I can't do it. That quick, Walking David says that quick nope from Joe made me spit out my drink. It's very concise. Joe's a concise co-host. He's like, I can't fucking deal with this. Okay, so to confuse things further, as I mentioned before, episode 21, which we're mainly going to be talking about tonight, and as I said, I'll change the title of this video. Episode 21, Joe, is called Outpost 22, just to confuse things a little bit. And let's do a close up on Joe with the cat as Maggie, Gabriel, and Rosita are on a truck in the Commonwealth caravan. It also includes Ezekiel, Kelly. Oh, her name's Kelly. I was wondering what her name was. Negan, and others. But the truck with Maggie's group finds an opportunity for escape when their only guard falls asleep. Gabriel and Rosita are able to jump off the moving truck, but Maggie is caught when the guards wake up. There's a scuffle between the two, and it ends up with a hole in the driver's head and crashed truck. Luckily, Maggie escapes unharmed when she hears the other vehicle convoy driving up, and she takes off into the woods. Now, Joe, I talked about this a little bit earlier too. The spin-off series. Are you at all excited about?
Nope.
Do you think it was a smart idea to announce the spin-off series before the final?
Absolutely not. It was the stupidest thing they could have done because now, that anybody that's been named for that series, they're fine throughout this. So basically, it's just more Walking Dead.
Yeah, and
No.
it's especially in a scene like this with
Like,
Mag.
what are they doing? They're just changing the name. They're like, I don't understand it.
No,
Like, it's not a spin-off series.
No,
they're just changing the name and sending Daryl somewhere else.
yeah, they're diluting the water and tricking us into thinking it's over, but it's really they're multiplying. they're gonna have there's not gonna be a season where there isn't a Walking Dead show on. They're gonna set it up so every time you want to turn on your television, they need to push those AMC Plus subscriptions, Joe. They need to buy AMC Plus. Axe says, Joe, how long have you had the cute cat?
A few months since July.
Loner Incognito, do I need to follow from season 1, episode 1 to actually follow the show? Right now, with what's going on the show, you don't need to follow anything because any of the characters that were around from season 1 aren't there except for Daryl and Carol, and you get all you need from them in 5 seconds with the two characters that they have history together. Nothing else that's happened in the show, even the rules with the zombies, don't even matter. I talked about this earlier, Joe. I'll add another thing to you, and you can easily say nope to it, but I was going to set it up in a way you couldn't say nope. But they're introducing all these new abilities and new kinds of zombies. Do you feel like...
Oh, to go back to Darabont's ladder climbing and rock holding zombies?
Yeah, isn't that a little weird, the way that they're transitioning back into
Suddenly?
this?
Very suddenly.
Did I miss this in the first half of the season, or is this just happening now for the first time?
This is just happening now.
That's just such a douchebag way of trying to pry in a end game kind of situation, because that's good.
And I think it's so they can carry it over to their new show.
Both all the new shows, and that's going to be our thing. They're going to end this story arc with the Commonwealth in the next couple of episodes. Okay, let's get into prediction time, and I'm going to go through this episode and continue going through it, but this is my prediction on how this all ends, Joe, and how Rick comes back into it. Rick comes in and saves the day. Like, there's a big attack on Alexandria, where the Commonwealth, where they take back Alexandria in the next couple of episodes, and because that's where the outpost is. And they, spoiler alert for the next episode, if I forget if that's in this episode or the next one, but Alexandria is where they're keeping everybody. So they take back Alexandria, the Commonwealth attacks Alexandria, and Rick comes and saves the day. Rick's, whatever new crew Rick is in, comes in and is like Gandalf's army in Return of the King, and or is that Two Towers? I forget. And comes in at dawn and saves the day, and then Rick's back in it. But then they all discuss how the zombies now are. Carol dies with a zombie that climbs a wall because she's not in any of the spin-off series, and then they all decide that they need to go to other places to investigate these evolved zombies, and that's sort of our lead into these other series. You look very Dr. Evil there, petting your kitty, Joe. Marlon Brando, Godfather, Dr. Evil shit going on right there. Joe and Phil, what do you think the last scene of the show of The Walking Dead is going to be, Joe? Will it be with Rick Grimes? Will Rick Grimes be the last shot of The Walking Dead?
No, the last shot of The Walking Dead will be like Daryl on the Brooklyn Bridge or the Statue of Liberty or some shit.
Oh, you think they're gonna
Daryl and like the kid, if the kid lives.
Judith?
Yeah, is the kid going with her?
No,
with him?
That's okay. And let's get into the big question, because I know some people are care about this more than others. Do you think Rick comes back? Do you care if Rick comes back?
At this point, Phil, honestly, I don't give a shit. I don't.
That's what the cat thinks about Rick Grimes coming back.
The Walking Dead has gotten so bad that have they started filming? Have they filmed anything? The
new series
with him?
Possibly, because I mean,
possibly. I say yes. No, they haven't.
I say yes. I say
you would have seen them say something about Phil. There would have been. They haven't had anything. They can't keep their mouths shut. They can't keep their mouths shut.
So will you applaud them if they surprise you with a fucking Andrew Lincoln sighting?
Yeah, I can't see him saying yes to it. I see what's her name saying yes to it because
Michonne?
no. I can't see her saying yes.
No,
to it
she
either.
has a
got
career.
too much-
Yeah, she has a career. She's not,
And
she
here's
does-
the thing: Andrew Lincoln has a career, and he's in another country most of the time.
he's a theatrical actor. He can work the stage for the rest of his
Right, like, but I don't see him or her saying I'll come back. I can see Maggie saying
Joe,
yeah.
I think you misjudge contractual obligations for getting them out of their contracts. That you can get out of your contract and do your little Black Panther movie. You can go work on the stage and spend some time with your family, Andrew. But you got to come back for the final 2 episodes or something. I don't know, Joe. With him launching with both of them launching the Michonne and Rick series that's coming out, I think they need to do the backdoor pilot of it, and I think the backdoor pilot happens in the last episode where they show up to promote their show essentially, like they're doing the tour.
The what?
The backdoor pilot or the Rick and
There's a
Michonne show.
Michonne and Rick show.
Dude, excuse me while I find this stuff.
So Michonne and Rick are getting Judith then.
Right, or it could be a flashback.
And instead of Daryl staying with Rick and Michonne and Judith, he's going to be like, all right, I know I spent 5 years or whatever walking up and down the fucking riverbank looking for you. Peace.
No, okay, here we go. They put out this poster. Let me see if I can put this up on the screen. Walking Dead 2023, 3 new series, Joe. I don't have it on the
oh, well, of course Andrew Lincoln is in section 2 or whatever. Never to be seen again.
And 3 new series in The Walking Dead, Joe. It's called The Walking Dead U, TWU, The Walking Dead Universe 2023. Rick and Michonne series, the Daryl Dixon series, and the Negan and Maggie series, The Walking Dead Dead City. 3 new series in 2023 of The Walking Dead. There we go. Rick and Michonne, Daryl, and 3 new series, Joe. You're not getting away. There's going to be more. You're not getting away. There's more Walking Dead. It's never ending. Let's do a close-up of Joe because he can't believe it. He can't believe it. It's back. It's never going away. It's never going away. Look again. You need to see this again. Oh, that's my dog. That's Lotus. Look at Lotus. Oh, no. There you go. 3 new series. 3.
Says who?
Says AMC.
Did AMC say that, or did somebody else say
No,
that?
this is
AMC said
Joe, this is real.
That's on AMC's website.
This is real. This is very real. This is not fan made.
Was that put out on April 1st?
Nope. This is real. This is happening. Walking Dead spin-offs. We're not getting away, Joe. Just where we think we're out, they claw us back in.
Oh,
and
what is that?
I'm not saying we're going to review and recap every single episode of every single one of these, but I'm going to be at least checking them out from morbid curiosity. Out of all of those, any of those you're more interested than others. Okay, the three series, one that's Maggie and Negan, one that's Daryl alone, and one that's Rick and Michonne. Any of the 3 of those are you actually excited about, Joe?
No.
No. we've got a Joe 401 error.
So what like what I find confusing is
there's a lot to be confused
Andrew
about.
Lincoln and Daryl not like each other. They didn't want to be on the same show again.
What I'm thinking, this is just my headcanon. Yes, that's probably what happened. They're feuding. That Rick dies in the Walking Dead finale, and this is a flashback series of how him and Michonne find each other and then come back to Alexandria to get their daughter back. And then I don't see it in a future series. Maybe it's a flashback series with Rick, or Rick never comes back. But that's a good question. How does one of them go to Paris or something? Like, is there an airplane? Do they take a boat? How's that work? And
They got a train.
They can take the underground train to Paris?
No, I don't know.
Yes, Carol was meant to. Oh no, the Daryl series is in Paris, I believe. The Negan and Maggie season is in New York. So they're different locations too. So we know if we're kind of trying to pick apart what the final episode of this Walking Dead is, it's something where everyone says goodbye and goes their own ways because
there's so many fucking people alive at the end.
And
because everybody that's not mentioned, if they die, none of those people do we fucking care about, with the exception of maybe Rosita.
Yeah. I mean, I care about Rosita because she's cool.
Do we care about Father Bob?
I still am pissed that he locked his whole
whatever the fuck is Gabriel.
I mean, Gabriel's a good guy, but I'm still kind of pissed that he what he did to his whole congregation the first time. You lock.
How we met him, his backstory.
Yeah, I mean, are we really gonna forget that? We're not forgiving Negan for the shit he did, but we're gonna forgive Father Gabriel for locking people in. I don't know. I don't trust that guy. I've seen
some more shit later with the group.
Yeah, he's sketchy. I've seen Oz in The Wire too many times to trust that guy. That guy plays crazy too well. He's a sketchball. Yeah, how do they travel across the Atlantic? Exactly, Iron Throne. I'm curious about that.
If they can fuel a fucking train, they can fuel a plane. Where have they got the diesel for that line?
But so there's going to be pilots?
I mean,
you can't just fly a plane,
Joe. Still doctors and lawyers, right?
Yeah, but that's different. Doctoring and flying a plane are two different things. If you're a medical assistant,
flying a plane is probably harder. Probably easier, rather.
You think so? Like taking off and flying a plane would be easier.
Much easier than like an appendectomy for you.
Either way, I'm sorry, I can't. Let's make a poll on that one.
At least learning it, right?
I'm saying
once there are no doctors, right, and once there are no pilots, okay, and then I say to you, okay, here's a scalpel, take out his appendix,
Joe. I get what you're saying,
or I say to you, here's a plane, take off and land.
Right. No, I agree with your concept, but my thing is more the numbers. I feel like there's more medical personnel in the world than aviation experts. So in the Walking Dead universe, you're more likely to at least find someone like you that has medical experience without being a doctor or a nurse. You with enough time and effort because of the history of your family and being an EMT.
I ain't cutting out your appendix without killing you.
Maybe.
No, not even.
Yeah, I would rather you do it than Bob on the street. I would rather you do it than.
That's great, Phil. Great. I'll jab around your fucking abdomen with a sharp, pointy object for a while until something falls on the floor. But that's about the best you're gonna get.
You saved a life or two.
I don't know how to do an appendectomy.
Yeah, but you'd have a better shot doing that than flying a fucking plane. You'd have a better shot than flying a fucking plane. That's for fucking sure.
No, I would. I'll tell you what, Phil. If somebody said to me, "All right, Joe, you can jab around Phil's abdomen doing this appendectomy, or you can go fly a plane with him. In one case, you might die too, or you both can live. But in the other case, most likely, surely, Phil is going to die. You know what, Phil? I'll take the chance and get in the plane and fly with you because I think there's a better chance we both live."
Thanks, you're a sweetheart. I want to. Iron Throne says next week we put Joe to the test. Give us enough super chats and we'll have Joe do a live appendectomy. It will happen. In the stand, some guy with no medical experience tries to do an appendectomy just by using a medical textbook. I guess my stupid point that I'm trying to make is that there's more medical personnel in the world than there are aviation experts. So in the zombie apocalypse, most likely there's a higher percentage that you're going to find doctors and nurses in the world than dudes that can fly planes.
No.
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 I love watching your brain try to compute if what I said had any merit. You're like no.
You're saying if you say aviation experts, then absolutely not, because then you're talking about all the plane mechanics, all the
Can those people fly
everybody
planes?
At the airport, dude.
If a plane mechanic watches this at some point in time, I want to know: could you fly a plane if you had to?
I'm sure they'll all tell you. I know how they fly.
It's not the flying that would be the problem. It would be the landing, right?
Right, but
I
Even
can
the
fly.
the mechanic
I can
is
fly.
gonna
Once
say
I'm
the
up
same
there, I
thing
can
say
fly.
about doing anything medical. Like, yeah, okay, dude.
Oh, people say they sail across the boat. Okay, what would they could sail?
Sailboat.
Oh, we're not thinking boat. Duh, the boats. Duh.
They're gonna swim.
Oh shit! It's gonna
Wait
be.
for a land bridge.
What
Man.
are they gonna find like a zombie iceberg? We're gonna have like a Titanic moment where Daryl sees a zombie iceberg? Is he gonna row like Gendry across the ocean?
Yeah. Find a charged phone and watch YouTube. There you
Yeah,
go.
people say, yeah, YouTube will teach you anything, says Loner Incognito. It'll happen. Okay, so to continue with this episode, Gabriel and Rosita are able to jump off the moving truck. Luckily, Maggie escapes unharmed when she hears other vehicles in the woods. The larger group of prisoners are on the bus are told they were now laborers and they no longer have names, and you're now in Oz. You'll pee when we tell you to. One gets put in a cell with J.K. Simmons. It's a little weird. There's also reassured that their children are safe as long as the adults are told. Are the children going to be safe, Joe? Or are you... Like, where are the kids? Like, do they put all the kids in one place? What do you think about the kids situation? What do you think of the Muppet Baby situation this season in general? Every episode starts with this Judith voiceover that tries, when my
Is
dad.
it different every time, or is it the same every time?
I think it's different every time.
I thought it was the same every time.
Is it? Let me play the most recent one.
It ends with her saying something about hope and like Maggie and
Is it
Andrew Lincoln hugging.
Let me see if I can.
Dark and broken, but we're not yet. We stare into the face of death every day.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing every week.
They do the same. Do you know? It reminds me of a Heroes intro. It's like we are the night. Do you ever have a power? If you have a power and a hero, it totally reminds me of a Heroes kind of intro.
Until one day, that
Joe.
face is our own. How do you come back from that?
How, Joe? How do you come back, Joe?
My dad wanted mercy to prevail over wrath. If we lose that, we lose everything.
She keeps mentioning Rick. There's no way Rick is...
What the fuck is this kid using a word like wrath?
She read
like,
the script.
honestly, like, what the fuck?
Save the cheerleader, save the world, Joe. Come on. The larger group of prisoners on the bus are told they're now laborers. They no longer have names. It's about time that Carol and Daryl come to do their Carol and Daryl reconnaissance mission. They find Maggie alone in the woods, facing a dilemma. A small child has turned undead, facing off against her. She could have easily destroyed the zombie, but she can't help think of her son, Herschel. She's having an emotional moment killing a zombie child. It was a deep existential kind of
stupid.
It was super stupid. Like, no, it's
like, it was really stupid. Like, and then who finds her? Who finds her? For like, fucking Carol walks up on her, right, with Daryl, and she's sitting there holding a little zombie baby, crying. I had to kill the zombie baby, and I miss my Judith.
Carol's like, I don't give a fuck.
Carol's like, do you remember the fucking whole season we spent on your farm looking for my little girl? Everybody yelling, give it up, give it up, give it up, huh? Do you remember that shit? Hey, how about this? I had to kill that little fucking bitch that killed her fucking sister. She wasn't even a fucking zombie. She was just a psychopath.
You mean
what the fuck, Maggie?
You mean Beth? No, I'm kidding. But seriously, though, and I love how they're bringing up things that happened in past episodes, like, oh, wow, let's bring up this fucking shit.
I'm still not sure what she did to that little boy.
Nobody knows. We're still trying to figure that out, Joe. Sorry, I'm messing around here with some messages. Walking Dead, my guess is that David says the 100% we barely seen these kids read, let alone draw. Now she's talking with like wrath. She's saying, and then I showed the wrath of the whole situation. Yeah, it's all fucked up.
I'll show you.
Instead of how many other words that a kid would know that would be in the kid's lexicon of like, come on.
Do you think she needs to look at the flowers, Joe? You think could Judith die by the end of the series? Could we see?
Oh, that would be sweet. Just get rid of the whole Lincoln line.
get rid of them all. And I mean, at this point, it would probably be the best conclusion of the series. Look at the flowers. She definitely needs to look at the flowers. So she can't bring herself to kill this kid. Of course, she eventually does, and it's a sad scene, but tells a lot about this. Again, I didn't write this. Tells a lot about the evolution of Maggie, that she goes right along with her kind of acceptance of Negan as more of a target for her knife in an evil glare. No, I feel like it's the regression of Maggie, author of this article. Maggie has gone from Joe knows, I used to be a Maggie fanboy on this show.
Big time.
I was like, she's the most
Are you about to say something bad about Maggie?
Dude, since she's come back on this show, she is the most disengaged actress I've ever seen. Her character is all over the place, has no consistency, no connection to the old character that she was, no consistency from episode to episode with her character profile. I want to
say that that's always been the case.
No, it hasn't always. Shut up. Shut your whore mouth. That is not always the case. She was very interesting early on and added a lot of dynamic and interesting different colors to her performance, and at least was consistent to the person she was from episode to episode. Now she isn't. I'll tell you about the fucking flowers, Joe.
It's true. She used to be a much better character.
I'm not saying
she hasn't been in a long time, as far as
I'm not saying she's like she was like the best, most interesting character on the show, but at least she had some consistency. Since she's come back, it's just been horrible. Let's pop in on our poll. We got 60 votes about. Has season 11 part 3 been a good conclusion so far? So far, our answers are 27%. Are a bunch of lying motherfuckers trying to troll us here, saying yes, it's been satisfying. 32% say no, and then 41% say I think what the real answer is meh. Now,
how is that an answer? That's not an answer if you're saying meh. So here's the thing. If the producers were to look at this poll and see meh, that's a no. That's just a no. If you're reaching for that, that means no, it's not satisfying.
Yeah, I mean,
you're okay. So like, satisfying is masturbation, right? Like, if it's just what's the point?
It just becomes a repetitious activity that you're doing just for the fucking bloody hell of it, because you have to. It becomes an addiction, Joe. It becomes an addiction. Mighty Healthy says, Jesus Christ, this show is still in the air. Henry says, episode 17 and 18 were good. 19 was bad. 20 was okay. 21 sucked. And 22 was okay. That's how I view it. I would say there was a couple of the episodes I kind of agree with Henry. I think the first one was probably the best one back. It's hard for me to remember it specifically, but the first episode of this run was the best one back. And
why?
It was just a little bit more action heavy, if I remember. It was Daryl centric. It ended up working.
Right, Daryl completely out of character, Mr. I'd rather live in the fucking woods alone than with anybody.
Not anymore. Not anymore. He needed to step up, Joe. He needed to.
If he needed to step up, he should have known that to take Judith and run the other fucking way. Go live alone. Go be hermits with her.
We got Brian.
Go teach her how to fucking live on the. Keep teaching her all that shit. Not how to fucking go, fucking eat ice cream and fucking go be a fucking waiter in fucking some store during the apocalypse. Are you kidding me?
Brian Dodd says, "Hey, great to see you."
Completely out of character for him.
I mean, I still think they were at least entertaining television show episodes.
No, they weren't.
You didn't enjoy any of these 4 episodes that we've had to watch?
I haven't enjoyed a fucking moment of any of this, in all honesty.
Since the Terminator 2 episode? Was that the last episode of The Walking Dead you actually enjoyed?
I enjoyed. So, yeah, that wasn't bad. I want to say I didn't even enjoy that.
You did. Now you're.
Here's the thing, but that hit again. So yes, when you're starving and somebody hands you, or you're dying of thirst, you're gonna squeeze elephant poop in your mouth, according to like
Is it juicy?
Bear Grylls,
if it's
right?
juicy,
But like,
yeah, if it's juicy.
in like, was it good? Well, I'm alive, right? Like, and if that's been your like all you've been getting to drink, right, for like seasons and seasons is just this elephant poop strung out in your mouth, right? And then someone says, "But you know what? Today we got something else for you. We got giraffe poop mixed with my own urine." Like, oh, great.
I don't know where you're going with this,
The
but it's
change might be nice,
I
but
don't-
like it doesn't necessarily make it like good.
I mean, okay.
Like, did that guy give a good performance? Yes, he did. But was the episode anything
No,
special?
Y-
Not
you're
really.
you're
no.
reverse. You enjoyed it at the time.
I did, but like again, like I said, when you change up your plate of shit for a nice bowl of diarrhea, like, it's nice to have a change. Like, so I don't have to like cut my shit up with a fork and knife. I get to eat it with a spoon today.
Okay, fair. It's if you're gonna be served shit, it's good to change up the way they shape the shit. Now,
Right.
Henry says, why did they not give an answer on Oceanside whether they lived or died? Luke said they took over. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk more about that next week, Henry. But I thought that was really weird, especially with the way they reintroduced Luke. It was sort of just offhanded. I almost didn't trust the situation entirely, and we'll see more of that moving forward. I don't like how that was all happened off screen. We have enough time in these final episodes, and they're focusing a little bit too much on Commonwealth to set them up as such this big bad, that if you're going to have Oceanside be a thing, make it a thing. Don't just have it be a peripheral in the background thing. Like that's what's pissed me off about anything to do with Oceanside, is that we check in on it so little, that I care so little about what happens there, even though it is a kind of interesting community, especially with Luke joining it. But ultimately, Luke joined it so he could go do that show, The Offer, playing Francis Ford Coppola. And now that show's done, he's coming back for this end here, and I'm like, oh, he's like, my people. I'm like, oh, which people are his? Luke, the musician guy, the chubby, the fat musician dude. See, that's the point. It's hard to keep track of all these motherfuckers on this show, Joe.
Who? Oh, the guy that came with Magma and all them?
Yeah, he's in the next episode 22 episode, the one that the one you're going to watch for next week. Cooking with Joe. We got David with some responses to your voicemail, Joe. Let's with your to your stuff. And we got let's hear what David has to say.
Joe. You dumb fuck. The fact that I was somehow able to follow your elephant shit, giraffe poop piss analogy. Oh god, dude, fuck! I can speak for all of us when I say we've all missed you. Oh fuck! Sorry. I haven't enjoyed it either. Oh god. Oh dude.
David.
Yeah. And I met some of these actors at Fandemic earlier this year. I still can't enjoy it. Sorry. Oh, for the love of fuck.
I know, David.
I get comments on my TikToks going, man, this TikTok's better than the last few seasons of the show.
Oh, nice.
Oh man, I'm gonna go
It
back
is,
to the
too.
live. I gotta hear you say some more shit like that.
Thank you, David, for joining us. And David is going to pop in with us on at least one of these episodes so we can get the old gang back together. And I know it'd be great to have David on with us. So maybe with we'll see how timing works out. But maybe before the second to last episode of the season finale, it'd be good to get David on to send off this show with a bang on our season finale. So we got Phantom D Saint says, what graded comic book does Joe have in the background? Oh, he's got The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead. Oh, we've got Henrietta in the live motherfucking chat. Exactly, Loner Incognito. We'll have the old crew. We'll get the Walking David here one of these episodes. We get some Outcast as well. So let's get back into this. She can't bring herself to kill the kid. Gabler and Rosita also find a group of the 5 of them set to rescue with their friends. As Joe shows you everything, we hear of a train being involved. Daryl and Carol got that info from Lance in the few episodes back. The group sabotages the chain and hijacks the train. So Joe, did you think we would get a train hijack on The Walking Dead? And how do you feel about the logistics of having a working train in The Walking Dead universe? I guess it makes more sense than still having gas that you could fuel a train, I guess, with like coal and stuff. I mean, I guess it makes more logical sense than driving around with these like all-purpose vehicles everywhere. So I talk
like a steam train, yeah.
Yeah, so I guess the steam train could make a little bit more sense. Someone says, damn, even got the Outcast signed. Henrietta says, The Walking Dead used to be my favorite series, and here we are. Someone wants to know where Clementine is. Are you excited about more Telltale games, Joe? I know you're a big fan of the Telltale series. You excited that Telltale's back making games again?
Are they continuing the Walking Dead video game Clementine's story?
I believe so, and they're also making a...
I think Clementine's story at some point is over, no? Like,
I believe so, and I think they're also
making... so long since I played it, but I wish they continued them.
And correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it already came out. I think they're making an Expanse game, too.
I wish they had... I'm so pissed they didn't finish the Game of Thrones. That was fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah.
That shit was like another... It was like it was the first spin-off, and it was really good. It was like watching Game of Thrones cartoon version. It was really fucking good. Like Ramses was in it.
I would have
good.
I would have liked to see another season of that as well, but
at least to wrap it up, finish it off.
I think they lost the license at this point on that one, but I do think they're doing more Walking Dead. I believe I have heard that. Tales from the Borderlands is coming back as well.
They did good ones.
That was fun. You're a big fan of Telltale in general.
Yeah, I really like those games. They do good stories. Their A Wolf Among Us was fucking awesome. Was really fucking good. That was a great story.
Maggie's getting attacked, Joe. Oh yeah. I don't know. I'm also having trouble. It's not that I don't like the design of the Stormtrooper look, but that I don't like the design of the Stormtrooper look, Joe. I think it looks more silly than...
It's stupid. It looks like foam. It's absolutely stupid. It's the stupidest fucking thing.
And I laugh every time I see them. They look like... It just looks like some weird Disney cosplay, and I start thinking...
It does. It looks stupid, dude. It looks absolutely...
Are they mass producing those? Like, how are they making those? I don't know. I'm curious. Mighty Healthy says...
It looks like they're getting ready to teach karate lessons.
Oh, that John Kreese is about to show up, and they're gonna get, they're gonna get some Miyagi.
They look stupid. They look so stupid. And I got an idea. Let's dress our soldiers. We're obviously manufacturing these things somehow, but
like where?
Let's dress them. Let's dress them in the brightest color we possibly can. White and orange, so everybody sees them coming.
No, just their leaders in orange.
Everyone, are you fucking kidding me?
Just the leaders in orange. Everyone else is
it's the stupidest fucking thing. It's just like, yeah, okay, maybe you want to be so you don't get shot by the idiot next to you, easily identifiable, but like still probably not the best idea.
Yeah, it wasn't the best choice. There's an intense shootout eventually with the troopers, but it all ends up eliminating all but one, the train conductor, for questioning. Daryl being the master.
They are troopers. They are troopers in true fashion. Hundreds of bullets, nobody hits. They die all left and right.
Oh yeah, they're perfect. They're perfect, like foot soldiers. Do you know that?
Like, it's gotta be okay, dude. No, it's gotta be. They're making Dude.
Are they making fun of Spaceballs?
Dude, they're making fun of themselves by making fun of Star Wars.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. They look
They're
like
playing a joke for
It's
everybody.
the
Look,
whole-
this stupid Stormtrooper.
Angela Kang is a genius. She's a genius, Joe.
They're gonna shoot like Stormtroopers. They're gonna miss all the fucking time.
Yep.
Let's make them look that way. And here we are complaining instead of getting the big fucking.
We don't
joke.
get it. The joke is beyond us, Joe. We're not
Because it's supposed to be a serious show, and it's not supposed to be that
No.
lowbrow of a humor. It's not supposed to be.
It's not
Spaceballs.
lowbrow. It's intelligent humor that we're just not getting.
Apparently,
We're not smart enough.
It was so well disguised. It took me fucking like a whole fucking season.
Do you know what did it
2
for me?
seasons to get it.
Do you know what did it for me, Joe? I finally got it here. Is because the outfits look so much like those of the Spaceball porn troopers. Was it porn bots? No, the Spaceball trooper guys that they do. So the outfits are so similar that we can understand the satirical nature of this dynamic. I think we're through the looking glass here, Joe. That's an amazing discovery.
I think it was purposely done for that reason.
Yeah.
At this point, because it's so bad it makes no sense. No reasonable person who who lived pre-outbreak of the zombies and saw any kind of military personnel would say, let's dress our guys in all white.
No reasonable human being. No reasonable human being that isn't a fucking moron. But look, Joe, we're in a world where someone is wearing what Aaron's wearing in the background. If you say who, I'll punch you in the fucking face. That's Aaron. Behind Daryl, that is Aaron. I put him on the screen just so you know exactly who that is. That's fucking Aaron, the most interesting character in the show that they don't fucking use. And they put him with the shit, stupid characters because they don't know what to do with him because he's actually interesting. And every time they have him do something, it actually is kind of cool, but whatever. Studio 11.
Right, they did. I think this would be a great place for King Jerry.
Oh my God.
I like the sound of that.
Do you like it reminds me of I don't even know what the thing is I'm going to say it reminds me of, but it reminds me of that kid at a party that tells one joke that people like and then they repeat the joke over and over again. Like they realized at the cons and at the things that people like Jerry, so now they just overdo the Jerry thing. Like, oh, you like Jerry, so let's have Jerry do a Jerry thing every time we have Jerry. Like, you liked him because he showed up every once in a while and he had a good line. It's like on Scrubs. You'll like all those side characters on Scrubs, Dr. Beard for Say and Hooch and blah blah blah, because they show up. If you have whole episodes dedicated to Dr. Beard for Say, he wouldn't be a fun, interesting character. And it's the same way on The Walking Dead with some of these characters. They're fun passively.
Jerry finally gets fucking eaten by a zombie, he's gonna be sitting there going,
it's Jerry.
It's all right, everybody.
It's all right, I'm
Well,
Jerry.
They gotta eat too.
Zombies get hungry, guy. Oh, hoochie hoo, de booshy booshy. He's gonna sound like the Swedish chef. Hoochie boo, I got to get eaten. Hoochie boo, I'm Jerry. You like
Looks
me.
like I won't be king now.
If this means Ezekiel will be king again, I'll die. I'll give my life on the line because, like, shut the fuck up. No one wants Thou Art Kingdom back, my friend.
Right? You loved it because you were number 2. Now you're just fucking. You're a half a step away from getting sent to the fucking concentration camp, apparently.
Fucking motherfucker. Joe, we got a question for you. Studio 11 Live. I don't know if I want to get into this exactly tonight, but we can get a little bit. Joe, I hear through the grapevine that you didn't like the House of the Dragon. Did you watch the whole season or could you just not even get through it? I know this is a Walking Dead stream, but I'm dying just to know if you finished the season or...
Now, I want to say, like, you either know me that well where you know I'm not going to, like, take a shitty show for much, or you probably have the feeling that it wasn't that good of a show. But in either case, I'm not going to let you know what I really think about the show until we do the show.
Right. I hear what you say. If you really want to know, the age-old question,
What did Joe think?
you're going to have to tune in and see.
But I do.
Did you finish it?
So
Did you finish it?
Oh, so yeah. Even though I said dude had an eye patch, doesn't mean I finished watching the show, does it?
No.
Oh,
Did you?
I don't know if I should answer that question either.
Don't save it. Save it. We'll do this the week.
Yes, no, I finished the show.
Okay.
I finished the show. I watched the whole show.
Okay. We will do a Joe's reaction to that at some point in the next few weeks, or the week after The Walking Dead is done. We'll do a complete Joe's. What did Joe think? Or maybe we'll record a pre-recorded video where we do. No, we'll do it live because people want to ask Joe questions. But we'll do that in a couple weeks. So stay tuned. For
ask me if I'll do a rewatch for our broadcast.
Ooh, maybe. We'll do that maybe before next season. But here we go. Get you over here doing old school live watch. Feed the zombies. Feed the zombies. Okay. The showrunners let all their children take the helm in the writer's room. Ding, ding. Negan. This is a good place for King Jerry. Yeah, this is a good... King Jerry, this is a great place for you. Okay, so there's an intense shootout with the troopers, but by eliminating one, Daryl is the master of questioning, and he starts off with some friendly tactics, but soon switches to the threats. None of those tactics work until Gabriel comes there and talks to him about God, and he has this whole thing, I remember you, Father. I used to come to your daily blah, blah, blahs. And Gabriel goes, yeah, do you know what I do to my congregation? I lock them up and let them die. But Gabriel... is a good guy, and he prays with them. The trooper tells them what's happening, and meanwhile Negan has a plan back at the labor camp. He sneaks to a chat with Ezekiel, who can't stand Negan because of that whole thing where Negan's henchmen wiped out the kingdom. I forgot about that, Joe. That was so long ago.
Right.
I was like, what's Ezekiel specifically have against Negan? I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah, like he sat down, it was like instant cold shoulder. Like, what? I don't. Oh yeah, how soon you forgot I saved you from the fucking Whispers? Is that what their name was?
Oh yeah, Negan killed Alpha, right?
Yeah, Alpha and Beta, didn't he?
No, didn't. I forget. Wasn't the Beta fight with Daryl? Was it
Glenn? Did Glenn come back and kill Beta?
He did. He came from the dumpster and he helped Daryl in a special move. I'm pretty sure it was like a Clegane Bowl like fight with Daryl and Opie, and they had a knockdown drag out fight. We got another voicemail. We're gonna be playing a bunch of voicemails here. This is here we go. This is from our good buddy. Let's see who's calling on in here.
Yeah,
okay,
he did Henrietta.
To Joe's credit, and both of your credits. What credit, and both of your credits. Whatever the fuck, it doesn't really matter. The writing on this show truly does feel like the showrunners handed over the writing to their children, and because it's written like how children speak, it's not written how adults speak. I mean, even in this episode, even though Joe hasn't seen it, no spoilers. It's not a spoiler. You don't care. But for the people who've seen this latest episode, I mean, just the dialogue between Negan and Ezekiel is childlike. And this looks like a place for King Jerry. And him going, yeah, dude, I like that. And by the way, how the fuck did they find a new place that no one had ever come across?
Yeah.
And it's
the
like
Renaissance
a castle.
there, right?
It's like a fake haunted castle. And the worst part about it is it looked so cheap. It looked like...
Yeah, dude, it looked horrible.
It was a Renaissance fair.
Yeah, it was like a bad version of King Richard's Fair.
Carnival thing. Even though it had walls and everything around it, it looked so fucking cheap. It's like in a movie when they do a facade, like a fake series of buildings to make it look like they're in a bigger city than they are. That's what it looked like. It looked like you just painted a door on a flat surface.
Yep.
And did everything shy of
pause
having the
in here for a
actors
second?
fake
One second.
pantomime walk through it.
So I'm so sorry to have to do this because I love that you're shitting on this show, but it's supposed to kind of look like that. I go to Renaissance fairs all the time, and it like they kind of look exactly like that.
Thank you for not
a
saying
shitty plank ass board wall around the outside so people can't just like walk in without paying a ticket, and like the huts are made to look like there's lots of them, but there's really not. It's just a plank painted with a fucking, It's just enough to kind of like trick the eye as you're like scanning about, and it's filled with a crowd and a bunch of people running around like spitting fire 10 feet from you or juggling balls or in costume. Just enough to look like you're kind of in a Renaissance-y fairyland kind of place. And it really did kind of fit that bill. But when you started this and you're like, how the fuck did they find this place on the casual walk back to like, and like, yeah, sure, they went off the road for a second there because they saw 3 walkers and they didn't want to have to deal with the 3 walkers, so they went and spent the night there. But I just have to point that out. It's supposed to kind of look like that. It's supposed to really.
Okay, comic book guy.
I mean, it's really, really bad.
So sorry.
It's really...
So
Okay,
sorry.
comic book guy.
So
What a douchebag you are, Joe. What a douchebag response. Oh,
I know, I feel so
technically, the Renaissance fair, the Renaissance. Why did you call it Renaissance or something? Why did you say the Ted? Yeah, the Ted I can't even say the Ted Mosby way of saying it. Renaissance. I am Jacques the Whipper. Like, what the fuck? You fucking douchebag. What a dick. What a dick cheese. Yeah. Sorry, David. Please ignore the douchebag in the corner here. What the fuck? Is the dialogue really that bad, says Loner Incognito? Yes. The dialogue is
fair ever.
It's
yes.
It's as bad as Joe and I's grammar. The dialogue on this fucking show is as bad as our fucking as Henry Header says. Actually, Joe. But yes, the dialogue is better. David says, "Oh, I know, Joe. I have even more I want to say. Let's let David finish, Joe. What a dick."
It's cheesy. It's horribly done. By the way, something else I wanted to point out. Hopefully, you're still playing this.
Oh, we are. But sorry, I just have to call Joe a dick again.
Is the reason why like Elijah or whatever is the black guy with the dual swords completely sucks at fighting now when he was a badass is because the person who was in the mask when he was introduced was a stunt person who was highly skilled, and the moment he took off the mask, that actor doesn't know any of those skills. So now he is just basically, he might as well have no hands.
Instead of
I
just
have so
hiring
much
the
more I
stuntman
could
to
say
do
on
the
this.
fucking work.
This is already 2.5 minutes.
No, that's okay. We appreciate the voicemail. Leave them as many as you want. We also got another message from 773. I'll play in a second, too. Yeah, exactly. And now he's doing nothing but having a romance I don't care about with Lydia. And Lydia, again, spoiler for the next episode a little bit, Lydia has one move. When Lydia's around, they have her to look around, see a group of zombies, and imagine the idea of, we should blend in with the zombies like my mother did. She's the one that like reminds everyone of that. That's her one move. In this new episode, she does it again. It looks around, make it seem like this big reveal like, ooh, Lydia's thinking about doing something. Let me guess. She wants people to cover themselves in zombie guts. Again, something we did in the second episode and then didn't do again until the Whispers, and now we do all the time. It makes me wonder why we didn't do it all the time. Yeah, welcome to the Renaissance Fair. Maybe Alicia doesn't want to kill. Maybe. Lydia's supposed to be with Carl, but no, now she's with Elijah. They've set it up. So Negan has a plan back at the labor camp. He says he needs Ezekiel to join with him because Negan is a tough guy. I'm a tough guy. I get people through fear. Ezekiel gets people through caring about them or whatever the fuck shit. And the only way they're going to get through this is with a guy like Ezekiel, not like a guy like Negan. But if anyone watched episode 22 yet, David was hinting at this in the message. The payoff for this, I can't wait to talk to you about this next week, Joe. It is so stupid and it's done so bad. It's done in a very ham-fisted speech. Like it's in a situation where Negan does the ultimate Negan kind of move. And then in that Negan move inspires a bunch of people for Ezekiel to give a speech to make everyone believe in it, to all go on the same side. It's like the stupidest shit that happens that I can't wait for you to see. It's in next week's episode. That's a spoiler for next week's episode. The conclusion of this connection between Ezekiel and Negan plays out in one of the most cheesy scenes I've seen in a long time since, do you know what it reminds me of? And this is a next week episode, but It reminds me a lot of the scenes in the Spider-Man movies when the people of New York protect Spider-Man. Like when the Green Goblin, they're like, no, if you mess with New York, if you mess with Spider-Man, you mess with New York. You mess with all of us. It's like that kind of scene. And there's a scene like that in episode 22 that is really, really bad.
Okay, which is why, and someone put in the chat earlier how Negan's society there just wouldn't work. And I agree completely, and neither would this society, because really, what kind of investigatory work do they have? You take a fucking shot from across the fucking street, she's fucking dead, you run. What, they got cameras?
Definitely not in this world.
Right? Like, they, what? They, like, you take the one shot, nobody's going to be like, oh, there's no, like, Lee Harvey Oswald shit ain't fucking happening here.
Magic bullet.
Right? Anybody that takes over that's going to seize power ain't going to give a shit about her fucking dying. They'll grab anybody they want and blame it on at that point. Like, how many people is families and people, like, so, like, she's going to round up most of my best friends or close friends and family, and they just disappear them and shit. And, like, I just walk by and fucking slash the bitch's throat while you walk by her.
Joe, we have
Who gives a fuck what the soldiers do to you?
We have a
right, like, oh, so like I can be this woman say I got picked to be waiter again. Like, yay! Glad I lived through the fucking zombie apocalypse to go back to my job as a waiter for some fucking douchebag who thinks her son deserves to inherit ruling us all.
She reminds me of one of the I don't know if you ever watched Shark Tank. She reminds me of one of the sharks, Barbara Cochran. We have a text message from 781. Hey Phil, I just want thoughts on the CRM situation and if you think they'll make an appearance in the last 2 episodes. They have that helicopter in this season and we haven't seen it since season 9. Happy Halloween and have a good stream. I think that's how Rick's going to come back in with that group. I think that's the Jadis group that has the helicopter and all that. I do think they'll make an appearance before the end of the episode. I think end of the season it might even just be in the last episode, or they might be
same group. They're all at section 2.
You think there's this? You think it's the same?
Hard labor camps.
They're in a different section. And let's see. We got another couple of voicemails for us, Joe. One from David. I'll play that in a second. But this message has been sitting here for a little bit. Area code 773.
Salutations, my hosts. This question is for Joe. I'm willing to receive hate from you. I'm willing to risk hate.
That's a tough beginning.
From you, but this is what I want to know. You said you played The Last of Us 1 and 2. This is probably where you're gonna hate me. I tried to play The Last of Us, but I couldn't finish it because I got stuck. The first time, I played it on the hardest mode and couldn't get past the beginning. I played it on the easiest mode, then I got stuck. So I just gave up. Then I hear The Last of Us 2 come out. Everyone's looking forward to it. Everyone played it. Everyone hates it. And that game got Game of the Year. Another game called Ghost of Tsushima was loved by everyone, and it didn't win. I want to know, why is that a thing? Why did a game that everyone hated win something versus vice versa, something everyone loved that didn't win, you know?
Okay, so basically, yeah, the Last of Us 2, and I know, and without spoilers, I think The Last of Us 2 got a lot of hate in some ways, but also won Game of the Year and a lot of love. Like, what are your opinions on that?
Okay, so as far as playing the game and getting stuck on the hardest level and not being able to do it, okay, when I first got it, The Last of Us, I got it a couple of years after it had come out. I got the remastered edition when I first bundled with my PlayStation 4. And neglected to play it, like just trying to download it onto my system crashed 3 systems I had to return, and finally got a 4th one from through Best Buy, and was able to put it on 3 systems. The 3rd one finally loaded it on, and I still didn't play it. I was playing GTA 5 for a while, and someone in GTA 5 was like, "Dude, man, you should play that game. That game's great." And I was like, "All right, I guess I will." And I put it. Grounded mode was unlocked on it, and I played it right into grounded mode. And dude, like, no shit, that fucker is hard. That shit is so hard. And if you don't spend the time looting and doing all that shit, you're going to pay for it. You're not going to have the supplies. So if you got stuck and you couldn't make it, or you had to do it on an easier level, I completely get it. Katie thinks Katie sees me for like 3 hours. I'll sit there and I'll try to beat the same 4 or 5. Same thing with Uncharted. 4 or 5 fucking guys keep killing me over and over and over again. For hours it'll happen. Hours. On Uncharted, I think I spent 27 hours on one of the last chapters trying to get down a cliff. I just couldn't fucking do it. Finally did do it, but so no fault of yours for any of that shit. Now, as far as why I think the Game of the Year thing for The Last of Us 2. Now, that game in particular has this accessibility shit that's programmed into it that is above and beyond what almost any other game offers, including Ghost of Tsushima. And if I remember correctly,
so are the criticisms of Last of Us 2 more about the story?
From what I remember when that came out, and what I remember reading is, there's a moment in that game, and I'm going to.
I know too. The character, spoiler alert for The Last of Us if you give a shit about it, because we'll get back to The Walking Dead in a second. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but a character that kills one of the main characters in the show becomes the point of view character that you're playing as.
So that's one reason. Another reason is the game has very prevalent, in your face sexuality issues that are talked about, spoken about. There are a lot of religious parallels as well that are drawn out in this game, and I think with the combination of those two things, also one of the main characters is Jewish, and it features a synagogue and telling of what the Torah is and talk of Jew stuff. With those three things, I think, like what happens with a lot of media that's released nowadays, it got review bombed by people who are intolerant of certain lifestyles, viewpoints, religions, or were hurt about what they perceived was a knock or a parallel toward what is their religion in one of the cults. That being said, I think it got very much so review bombed. Now, as far as technical aspects and things of that nature and gameplay,
do you like it as much as? Do you like it just as much as the first game?
I do. I actually do. I really like
fandom
the story.
in the live.
I love the back and forth.
Fandom
viewpoint.
in the live chat says, I remember Joe playing through Last of Us 2 and he loved the ending. Now, I don't mean to bring this back to The Walking Dead, but let's bring this back to The Walking Dead with The Walking David here, responding a little bit more to our Renaissance Fair situation.
Motherfuck! Okay, I just thought of another one. From that stupid Renaissance Fair episode. If you go back and watch this film, I swear to God, go back and watch this. I just remembered this shit. Is when they are just like getting rest or whatever, even the actions that the actors are doing are childlike. Aaron, the guy with only one functional hand, is carving the end of a stick. To what end? Don't know. Does he have a knife? He sure does. He's carving the fucking stick with it. Also, Elijah is putting
his hands together and rubbing them like he's in Castaway to start a fire. This is not how they would start a fire 12 years into a fucking show. They have a piece of fucking flint. They would be able to fucking do it. It's not a two-person job. Lydia is gathering huge clumps of wood that they don't end up using for a fire at any point. They're just sitting in the dark later. And the production value, because they just have given up on trying to make it look decent, they're like, you know what? How do we like this scene? Could we have it lit just with fire? Could one of the walkers fall into a fire and catch the entire Renaissance fair on fire? So at least we have a cool episode full of fire. No, that costs money, and we'd have to have our pyrotechnics guy be here. So you know what we'll do? Let's go ahead and get a 650 pointed up into the trees and fill it with fake fog so that it looks like an 80s slasher film. And
yeah, because there's so much fog at night.
I mean, and the dialogue when they first see a walker pick up a rock is still, dude. Fucking
it's like Phil and I having a conversation.
To punch my fucking television.
Yeah, that sounds like our whole fucking life. Okay, so there's a big surprise, big shocker at the end of the episode as the convoy stops the steel gates labeled Outpost 22. We watch the faces of the survivor realize as these gates lead to the new labor camp named Outpost 22. Used to be dun 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 Alexandria. Milton has underestimated us since day one. Maggie says at home at the end of the episode, we're going to get our kids back.
Wait.
Take our home back.
What I missed something there. I must have missed it while I was watching too. What happened? What happened? Because I remember. No. I saw the the whole Maggie speech. They underestimated us or some shit, but I didn't hear what it was about Alexandria.
When they show up and they let all the people, like the labor camp area, the labor camp that they show up to, the Outpost 22 that they've been heading towards, is Alexandria.
Oh, so they're sitting in Negan and Zeke are sitting in Alexandria right now?
Yeah, at the end of this episode,
or are they somewhere else and the other people were going to Alexandria?
No, they're all at Alexandria as far as I know right now. Except for the kids.
Oh, right, because they had to go back. They all had to pack up and go.
Yes.
And they were brought to Alexandria.
Yeah, on the
basically,
bus.
They moved them in and then took over Alexandria.
Right. They took it over as an outpost. And in the next episode, Henrietta, we find out more on in episode.
Alexandria? What happened to Alexandria? Why did they all leave it?
Because
the Whisperers came. That's right.
Yeah, and they went because the Commonwealth promised to revamp it, like add food, fix it up, and let them do it. So that's why some of the members of the crew weren't planning on staying at the Commonwealth. They were just going there for supplies. Aaron and his crew were going to like amp it up. I'm getting a little confused because I'm an episode ahead of you, so I know what happens in the next episode too. But at the end of the episode you caught up on, episode 21, they're at Outpost 22. Again, I don't know if that was intentional, that they go to Outpost 22 in episode 21, and then episode 22 takes place in Outpost 22.
Yes, exactly. It's on purpose.
Yeah, it's on purpose, and they think they're being clever, and instead it's stupid. It's fucking stupid. It's all stupid. Overall, this is not what I said, but I want to read what this person said in this article. Overall, I thought this was a great episode. It brought together many of our separated favorites, like Daryl, Carol, Connie, Maggie, Gabriel, and Rosita. Okay.
Our favorites?
Our favorites?
What?
Who would ever call Connie one of your favorites? Or Rosita one of your favorites? Maybe Daryl and Carol. Okay, our favorites like Daryl and Carol. Stop. All stop. Everyone's favorites are Daryl and Carol. I'm sorry, but someone's going to say, well, my favorite character is Connie, Phil. Oh, you don't speak for me. No one's favorite character is Connie.
How could any of the other characters be a favorite character?
Dude,
they have
my
so
favorite
little time development.
My favorite character is Magna. I love her. She's awesome. Every scene she's in, she's great. Yeah.
Well, she disappeared for like what, 7 episodes, 8 episodes.
But she's my favorite character, Joe. She's a fan favorite.
Well, Magna's the waitress, right?
The waitress, yeah.
Yeah. She's had like 4 lines in the last season.
Yep. Yeah, because they can't figure out anything. They are in a Jesus situation with her. There's certain
with all of them.
It started with Tyrese, or I think was the name of the character. Because a character is introduced in the comics and is interesting in the comics, they can't figure out how to translate that character to being interesting in the show. So they just show the character up and say, "Hey, remember this character? Hey, remember this character from the comics?" And they're like, "That's all the build up you need to know this person." And then when they try to show you like anything to make you care about it, it doesn't work. And it's especially true with that particular character. It's just Magna, I guess, is interesting in the books to a certain extent, and it doesn't translate on screen to anything that they've actually done with her. So she's just a useless character on the screen that they just pop in once in a while. At least Connie, they make her part of the show for a minute, but they dropped that whole reporter angle, and then Eugene kind of just took that over. And at least she's a better actress than fucking McDermott playing fucking Eugene. Two more groups are unaccounted for. We have the group with Negan's wife, Annie. We have Lydia's group. Set off a few episodes back to scout out the towns like Alexandria. According to the sneak peek for next week's episode, we see Lydia split off. Okay, so I do have a recap for episode 22, but we're going to wait on episode 22 and talk about that one next week. So if you guys have any last minute questions or comments about this week's episode 21, or preview, for me to preview, let me preview episode 22 since I've already seen it. Episode 22 is a little bit better than 21, but it's
it's shit. So episode 22 continues to be shit.
Henrietta says Magna was cool in the comics until she became lame. Favorites, obviously they had a gun to their head typing that review.
So the show is being true to the comics, you say.
Exactly, Chunky Chunka. Eugene always looks like he's taking a shit. He has the constipated, or he's constipated in some way. Look in his face. This is his look. Hi everybody. I don't mean to sound wrong to you, Joe, but
at least in some way I'll be remembered as
the
guy who took a shit.
I do. I found the shit. That's what I did. One of these days, I'm going to squeeze this thing out with my Sega Genesis in my hand, playing that video game system. And intellectual stimulation of the negative power means I'm an intellectual person, and the only skill set I have is lying and bullshitting to all you people. That's what I do. I mean, sorry.
So at least I saved her life.
I saved her life. Truth be told, there are 4 lights, and I saved her life. Sorry, David. We're like probably nails across the chalkboard with our impression.
Right.
David's like, you guys stop. Don't make me have to call it again, you assholes.
Dude, all of my impersonations are so much better than his.
Oh, David, you want to have an impersonation off with David?
I would have an impersonation off with him any day of the week.
Okay, that's coming. Ladies.
We could even have the actors themselves judge us.
No.
And they would be like, wow,
the actors
just like me.
The actors don't want any fucking part of this show.
No, I don't.
No, and wait, let's see.
Yeah. No, David's impersonations are fucking crazy good.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming soon on the Issues program, The Walking David versus Joe in an impression off. Joe, is this going to be like that time when you went into a bar and challenged an NBA basketball player to a one-on-one?
This time, that involved me having to like travel like quite a few
You'll
miles
actually show up to this one. True story. Joe went into a bar and challenged. We don't have to say names because no one will know. This guy Purvis Ellison challenged a 7-foot-tall NBA player to a one-on-one basketball game because he was always injured all the time. And he's like, "You're making too much money. You're always injured. I challenge you. I'll beat you in a game of basketball." They re-signed him to like a big contract or something.
And they were about to make the playoffs too.
So this guy, awesome. Like, it was a really straight up awesome move by him. He takes out a business card, writes an address. He tells Joe, show up at 3:00 to this address.
Anytime after 4, Brandeis University on a Friday, show up. We have open practice.
Yeah, I'll play you one-on-one. And Joe did not show up. Joe cowered it out. He's like, no, I'm not showing up. I'm going to get my ass kicked. I'm not going to lose that game. And of course he would have. But we got to give Joe respect for not showing up.
But I think they still do practice there.
Yeah, probably do. We got one more voicemail for now. Let's see.
Hey guys, it's Roger again. Phil, I left a voicemail earlier about involving a Rick and Morty related question. I'm assuming that one was a little too inappropriate for the air.
No, I didn't play it.
Joe, thank you for answering my question earlier. Thank you for putting the Kim Wexler thing to rest for me. But I wanted to know, how did you two meet? Joe and Phil, how did you guys meet? And do you live in the same state? Are you?
Yeah. Okay. So Joe and I live within 2 minutes of each other. It's funny that we're on web stream instead of in the same room doing this, because we literally probably if I yelled out my window, Joe could probably hear me if I was loud enough, or if I played trumpet out the window.
You'd hear me because I'm up on the hill.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. I walk past Joe's house every day, and we don't actually hang out, but we do live close to each other, and we'll get Joe over here to do a podcast in person at some point in time. As of how long have we been friends? When we were friends, we met when I was 18. I think Joe was 21, and we initially met on the basketball court.
We met when I was.
Oh yeah, you were younger, but we didn't become friends until.
17.
Oh
18,
yeah. Oh
19.
yeah.
I was 19.
You were 19. Okay,
I was 18.
I was still in high school. I forgot I was still in high school. So, but we did meet on the basketball court, and Joe thought I was better than I was, and I was a big clumsy mess, and we were instant friends.
Well, he was really good at basketball because he knew to pass me the ball all the time.
I did. We became a basketball team. Our initial friendship started on the basketball court. Which is that true story. And then we hung out all the time, and we've been friends ever since. So we've been friends 30 years, something like 30 years. Yeah. Joe's smart enough to know to take breaks from me every once in a while. He's like, yeah, 30 years. I'm not gonna say 30 years straight, with a lot of breaks.
30 years straight.
No, yeah. I know. I'm kidding. But yeah, we've been friends 30. Yes, Iron Throne, Nervous Purvis Ellison, Joe challenged to a basketball game. I think it was in a Fuddruckers or something.
No, it was at a strip club.
Okay, it was at a strip club.
I've met 2 NBA players at 2 different strip clubs in 2 different states. Purvis Ellison in Massachusetts at a strip club called, it's either Michaels or Matthews up in Tingsboro area.
They have great pizza.
Yeah. And then I met Dennis Rodman in
that's a surprise.
A strip club behind the Hard Rock Hotel in Vegas. And that was a fun story. And we got his autograph on a business card that offered, if you had this card with you, you could get a free lap dance from some of the girls that were any of the girls listed on it. We had them. Dennis Rodman signed that. And a newspaper clipping from him that's had it celebrity spotted in Vegas over the weekend.
And no loner incognito. I should not be challenging 7-foot tall NBA players. But Joe at the time was a pretty good basketball player to the point where, we would to the point
where if I was 4 inches taller, I probably could have been a professional player.
Like European professional, maybe.
Definitely European. I could have been European professional without being 4 inches.
Now, just for
especially in the 90s.
Just a couple of stories, just for evidential purposes, because my friend Nick, Joe, and I, all 3 of us at the time, had very long hair, looked very hippie oriented, smelled like some substances we can't think. We would go to the local college campuses and play 3-on-3 basketball.
3 schools.
And this is what would happen. And Joe, you can say we would win all the time, but what would happen was we would challenge the best players of the college teams to 3-on-3 games. They would laugh at us in the first game. We would beat them in the first game. They would kick our ass in the second game, and the third game would be a challenge, and we'd almost win, but we'd lose. But we'd always beat them in the first game because they looked at us like these fucking 3 hippie
they always
idiots.
Matched up on us wrong too.
Yeah, they put their best player on me. And I was not the best player. I was the worst of the 3. And I would just pass the ball to Nick and Joe, who actually could play basketball at the time. I could kind of play defense, but they would put their, and and they would put their best player on me and would take them out of the game.
And they would put their worst player on Nick, and Nick is really good.
At that time, he was
they
very
would
good.
do that because he was a lot shorter than us, and he knew how to play as a short guy.
And Joe is
really well.
Joe is close to 6'2", 6'1", 6'2".
No, Joe's 6. We'll call him 6.
Okay, we'll call him 6. Joe, you going to talk about yourself in the third person? Joe is.
We'll call Joe 6.
Joe is 6. Joe is a 6. In many ways, Joe, you're a 3. So here's this you're a Rick and Morty watcher, right, Joe? So Joe will have to answer this question because
I got your answers.
So here's your answer.
Phil, it's me again. I heard your part about like, let's make it interesting as possible. Let's change the topic. Ask any question you want. I have 2. One is very brief, and one is potentially inappropriate. So listeners, viewer discretion advised, or listener
Has he heard my voice?
Has he heard us talk before? No, I'm kidding.
Discretion advised, or how have I said. The first question is, how long will you be staying up for? And the second question...
You mean staying up tonight for? Not too long. We'll be ending in the next 5 to 10 minutes. But we'll be staying up a little bit after that, in our after show discussion. But I'll be ending things pretty soon.
Before I ask this question was inspired by Rick and Morty. I don't know if you watch Rick and Morty, but here goes. If you went back in time 1 year and you ran into your past self, and for some reason you started engaging with yourself.
Oh, I know the question. It's the Futurama question. Is hooking up with yourself, is there anything wrong with hooking up with yourself, your past version of yourself? Futurama did that as well, where Fry ends up having sex with himself when he comes back. No. If I bumped myself, I was looking good, I'd give myself...
Masturbation, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd have a little mutual...
Here's the thing, is that if you are to travel back in time, there is then 2 of you. Essentially what you have done is you have cloned yourself.
So is that like doing a Lannister thing? Is it like messing with your twin?
Exactly. You are no longer yourself, because if you are both in the present with your own consciousness and your own decision making, technically it's a clone. Even though you've traveled back in time, once you start traveling, once there's a moment where there's 2 of you, you've cloned yourself, right? And as a clone is also what there are clones living today. They're called fraternal twins.
Identical twins.
Identical twins. Sorry, you're right. Not fraternal. Identical twins.
you did this big setup, like this,
right? And then I fucking blow it.
You were like had the layup, dude, and you blow it. You blew it.
So if it would be no different than identical twins screwing each other.
Right.
So
it's incest.
It would be incest.
It'd be incest.
Not masturbation.
Right. Exactly. So survey says ding, incest. So unless you're a Targaryen, it's not okay. And even if it's a Targaryen, it's kind of creepy, even though it will be glorified. The Targaryens get a pass on the incest thing, I guess. So everybody, thank you so much for tuning in this week. Joe and I will be back next week. I have Joe for the next 4 or 5 weeks at least. We'll do the next 3 weeks after this of the Walking Dead recaps of the next episodes. I'll match this up for real next week. Next week's episode will be about episode 22, 23, 24, and I think 24 is the finale, I believe.
So are we gonna do them one at a time?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to do two? I'll do it. I'll.
You're gonna
throw
download
down, because there's only 4 episodes left, right? So that's 1 month.
I would
free month? No.
I think.
Is it a free month? It's only 7 days. Probably.
More people. The problem I'm having is more people probably don't have AMC Plus, so they're not watching a week ahead of time. So we'd be talking about an episode that people haven't seen yet. I don't know.
Yeah, but people haven't seen this. The people that watch us don't watch this episode either. So.
That's true. Okay, do you want to get AMC Plus and catch up, and we'll talk about episode 23 next week?
Particularly, but I would.
Okay.
Especially if there was something else like AMC was doing that was good.
Have you checked out Interview with the Vampire yet?
No.
It's pretty good.
Is it?
Stars Grey Worm from Game of Thrones playing Brad Pitt role. I'm actually enjoying it.
Peter Baelish?
No,
Grey Worm.
Grey Worm. It's pretty good. It's an interesting version of that story. So next week will be called episode 23, but we'll be talking about episode 22 and episode 23. We'll just keep doing this the same way we did tonight, all fragmented, because no one cares about a full recap of the fucking episode anyway, right? We just care about talking about sections of it. So next week we're going to be talking about, this week's episode was about 21 and 22. Next week will be about 22 and 23. Then we'll do 23 and 24, and then we'll do one last stream after the season finale airs for everybody. And then the week after we'll do What Did Joe Think About House of the Dragon? And or maybe we'll mix that in somewhere along the way as well.
Hell yeah.
So also I'll be doing some other stuff here and there. Gotta figure out some other shows and stuff to talk about. Is there a week without an episode so you can catch up to the finale in real time? That's where it's weird. What's happening with AMC is AMC just releases an episode a week ahead of time. So right now, the episode that aired on television this week was episode 21, right? The episode that aired.
But if there's a week off, say like next week they don't have an episode.
But no, they're putting it right through. But
Yeah.
either way, we'll be out here recapping an episode of The Walking Dead. It doesn't matter which one. Does it really matter which one?
No.
We'll be talking about both episodes at once. Maybe I'll watch the series finale. Maybe. But next week.
Well, here's the thing. I highly encourage anybody who watched the first up until at least the dumpster
to keep going.
I encourage any of those people
to stop.
Tune in for the finale.
To us for the finale.
To tune in to us talk about
the finale. 2 weeks in a row. No, okay, so that's why I want to. Most people are going to be watching in the broadcast time. So next week, let's talk fully about episode 22.
Okay,
even though this stream is called episode 22, next week, let's talk fully about the broadcast episode, right? Instead of the episode ahead of time.
Okay.
Don't you think? Probably is that better? Does that, I guess?
Yes, that sounds better.
I guess.
That sounds right.
It sounds right. I'll give a little preview of 23. I'll just change the title of this episode at this stream at some point to episode 21. And or I'll title them wrong the whole time just because I'm an asshole. Either way it will work out. Anyways, Joe, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. I'm sorry I was late, dude.
Oh, no, that's no problem. We'll get you back next week and whip you for that. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this stream, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the channel with a friend. Join us every week around 10:15 for The Walking Dead we'll be on for the next 4 weeks, basically, talking about Walking Dead episodes, sharing your thoughts. Regardless, we'll make sure we're caught up on both episodes. So if you have questions about either one, and if anyone cares about spoilers, they're not watching us. If anyone cares about The Walking Dead and like really, really cares what happens, they're not checking. Anyone that likes The Walking Dead long left us. And if anything, they're coming in and going, "You neckbeard assholes are still talking. You haven't died yet." Well, one of you guys just die. Come on, Beal.
Oh, neckbeard.
Yeah, who were you talking to? Mine's just so white you couldn't even tell anymore. It's just...
If I didn't have a neck beard, I'd have a double chin, triple chin, or some shit.
It's true.
I see that. And the waddle.
No, I've seen you clean shit. I like you better with the beard.
The crow does too.
Yeah, you look better with the beard. Yeah. I mean, everyone. At least your beard's not like Santa Claus white. Yeah.
Not yet. It's starting.
Yeah. No. No, you're older than me, and it's not even starting that bad.
Hey, we both can be happy. Who cares about the gray?
Yeah, it's true.
The full head
I
at
don't.
this age.